up, y'all? What's good? Hey, Johnny. How's it going, guys? How's y'all Saturday night going? Let me know y'all can hear me. Whoever's in here, let me know who's here. Hey, Blood Moon. What is up, guys? Y'all can hear me, right? You can't hear me? Oh. Hi, Jose Negro. Okay, good. How's everyone's Saturday been going? Hey, Ice Cream Beats. Is the DMV states Delaware, Maryland, and it's DC, Maryland, Virginia. So basically, like the DC metropolitan area. So it's DC, the city, and then like the areas of Virginia and Maryland that surround it. So, for example, like southern or central to southern Virginia isn't really considered part of the DMV, just like northern VA. Yo, from Chicago to Damas, what's up? What's up? What's good, y'all? Gonna wait for some more people to get in here. Nothing much, chilling. Okay. Yeah, it's been what, 2 weeks since I've been live? I know a couple of y'all keep asking me, when are you gonna go live again? So I was like, I'm gonna just do it today. I'm good. My husband and I were gonna go out to dinner. We decided to cook home instead. Okay. What's up, Self Styles? Can we talk about Dominicans and Haitians now to get it out the way early? Oh my gosh. Y'all, if we can try, let's please try. Let's please try and not make this live about DR and Haiti, okay? How long am I going tonight? I don't know, just however long it goes. You guys, I am going to do an all Dominican live stream at the end of February, okay? So y'all will once and for all, all right, Miles, get to talk about this stuff and just put everything out there. And yeah, we can dedicate that life for that. Hey, Eddie, I don't have any drinks right now. I was thinking about it earlier, like, should I drink this live stream? Because I feel like the past 2 or 3 I've been drinking. And then I end up with a headache. But I think it's the Moscatos. The Moscatos give me a headache if I drink too much. All right, Miles, ain't nobody scared of you. Yeah, so for this one, I did have like a shit go let you with. Let's talk about the square mileage of the planet and how much irritable land it is. I don't know nothing about that stuff, Styles. You'd have to come in and school us on that. Yeah, Blood Moon, I do get sleepy and stuff when I start drinking, so I think I'm a chill for today and stay sober. Miles talking all this stuff. What's up, crazy boy? What's good? Are you going to talk about the GameStop thing? Oh, actually, I don't know too much of the details about that, but I have seen a bunch of posts and like memes about it. So if any of y'all know about it, you can come on and kind of talk about it. But it looks like people were making bank off of that. Black Mamba, what's up? So it had to do with the stocks, right? People that had invested in GameStop. Hey Ramon, I'm busy tonight, but just wanted to say hi and send my support. Thank you, Eddie. Borderline inside trading. Okay. I'm gonna put the link in too, because since I think some of y'all know more about this than me. Are we gonna talk about the genocide? Truth teacher. Shh. Told you we can't talk about that. Hey Morena, what's up? We can't talk about the genocide, truth. Like the video on your way into y'all. I thought GameStop was on its way to business. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what's going on. Some really wealthy people were betting that the stock would go down. Mouse is 18. Okay, so 22 of y'all in here. 24. My phone says one thing, Streamer says another. Morena, it's obviously there's not like a real genocide going on. It's like an inside joke me and True Teacher had for a long time because of certain other YouTubers saying that there's a white genocide going on in DR. Yeah, so for today's live, I don't have like one specific topic to talk about. Again, I decided to come live because it's been like 2 weeks and hi Miss Yanni. Yeah, y'all wanted me to come on, but I did jot down some of the suggestions that y'all gave me. Some of them are a little more lighthearted. Some of them are a little more serious, I guess you could say. So tonight's y'all's night. We can talk about whatever. Tina is the type to get drunk on root beer. Shut up. Yes, I am a lightweight. Okay, I am, but like I said, I'm gonna lay off the alcohol for today. Yeah, we gonna chill tonight. We gonna chill. Ratty, don't start. Yeah, Radical gotta come in here talking mess. Hey, James Rogers. Yes, the white genocide in DR. It was mostly white. So what's up, Moreno Lindo? What's good? Hi, Daniel Cardinales. What's up? What's up? Okay, so some of the suggestions I got, just to kind of throw them out there. And this is suggestions I got both here on my YouTube community tab and also through Instagram, was to talk about cancel culture and I guess the pros and cons of that. Somebody else suggested that, okay, bueno. Yeah, rojo vino. Yeah, that would be good. That we talk about, okay, so you know all this stuff that's going on lately with like Danny Lay. What's up, Stink Face? And like the drama that happened with J-Lo like a month or two ago, somebody suggested we talk about like so it seems like these women are kind of coming on, and in a sense, it's almost like we take it like they're trying to replace a certain demographic of women, but we don't really talk about who's actually behind what's going on with these women, you know? So that is something we could talk about, and that would include people like, you know, Cardi B as well. Somebody suggested we talk about the Wall Street bets versus hedge funds. That's something I don't know too much about, but if any of you guys out there are more knowledgeable on that, y'all can chime in. Somebody else said, okay, so there's 3 things people suggested, which I think could all be kind of tied together. So I don't know if y'all would want to talk about this here right now, because it is a bit more of a serious topic, or to do a whole separate live stream. But somebody said to talk about the femicide going on in the Dominican community. I think this is in DR. Somebody else mentioned to me that Puerto Rico declared a state of emergency due to gender-based violence. And then somebody else suggested to talk about machismo in Latin culture, and if that basically equates toxic masculinity. So I think those 3 things could kind of be together. So I don't know. Y'all let me know if you want to talk about that, or if that's like too serious. Again, it's up to y'all what you want to talk about. And then somebody else just sent me a meme to share and to kind of get into, which is talking about dustettes, which are the female versions of dusties. The femicide going on in DR Blood Moon. I saw multiple articles about that last year, so I don't know if that's something any of y'all would want to talk about. Hi, it's Sina Sephora cancel a beauty influencer for being conservative. I think it's wrong to cancel somebody for political views and being in favor of the traditional family. Oh wow, yeah, that's messed up. Political views has nothing to do with beauty or makeup. Like you shouldn't have to be canceling somebody because of that. That's pretty whack. Hey goddess energy. Here we go again with the demonization of machismo. Machismo does not mean hatred for women. Oh. What's going on, Jose Negro?
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. What's up, MXC?
Okay. First of all, how are you doing tonight?
Do you have like a tab open somewhere?
Okay. I don't know what's going on. It seems like I'm getting some sort of a double feedback on my end.
Yeah. I want to unmute you for a second.
Maybe I need to leave and then try to come back.
Okay, sure. But I'm gonna drop the link again, guys, and I'm gonna pin it. All right. Okay. Yeah, he has an echo on his end. Moise, I see you in here. You better behave today. Okay, no trolling today. What's good, Uli?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. So how do we start, with the Dominicans or Haitians? Let's get it out of the way.
Today, y'all. Let's not go there today.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
No, I know. Okay, so I think Morena said, excuse me, the whole dust that thing. Okay, I think we can start with that because that's something a little more lighthearted. So
The what?
Talking about dustettes, which are the female version of dusty. So somebody sent me a meme. Let me see if I can share it, and y'all let me know what you think. Okay, let me see. Share screen. Okay, let me see. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you can make out what the blurted out words are. So it says, y'all thought I was joking, but I really took this blank on a date. Drove, paid, and sucked his, laugh, laugh, laugh. Okay. So this here is what you could consider the female version of a dusty, a dustette. So
Female version of the what?
Of a dusty man. Okay, do not know what a dusty is.
No, I can barely hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah. I didn't hear the last one. The female version of what?
Of a dusty.
I'm old.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So usually dusties, I mean, there's kind of like multiple ways you could describe one, but it's usually like kind of like a bum dude that doesn't pay for dates, that kind of relies on the woman to, pay for dates, and they isn't that a pygmisha? I guess you could kind of say it's a pygmisha, but they're like low value men type of thing. And somebody sent me this, and this was like, this is the female version of a dusty, because she's over here basically taking this man on a date, doing what the man is supposed to do. She paid, and she anyone over 30 that ain't rich is dusty. Well, no, I mean, I don't think being rich necessarily equates to being a dusty or not, because you can be rich and still be a dusty.
Let me search here in the Urban Dictionary.
She is not a dusty if she paid and drove, more like a
A
Susie.
bro player.
Huh?
Okay. So a dust is a broke player that has
Yeah, pretty much.
un chulo.
Oh, you could say that. Yeah. Mhm.
Speaking Dominican, okay?
Exactly. Yeah. So okay, so let me ask you, since you're a man, how do you feel about women that do this, that they'll go to the extent of taking men out, paying for the date, and then giving him the goods even though he ain't do nothing for it? How do you feel about that? Do you feel like these women are desperate, or how do you view that as a man?
Well, you say she's doing it because she likes the guy, or is this just a serial thing? Just
I don't know. I mean, we're just assuming here. I mean, I think some women, they do it because they do like the guy. Maybe they feel like that's the way to kind of keep the man interested, or to make it seem like, I don't know, like, hey, you should pick me because I'm over here paying for you and this and that. But I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of weird.
yeah, it will sound desperate no matter who does it. I mean, men or women, Uh,
Hmm.
that's what it looks like. That's what it'll feel like. And if it was my daughter, or somebody I care about, I will advise, you're selling yourself short. I mean, it looks like somebody that have some kind of uh, so doesn't value herself or himself, depending who does it. I mean, I know guys who has done do that type of thing, and it doesn't go well. It doesn't end well because basically, you're not building anything out of that. Yeah, it might feel good at the moment, but it's not. In the end, you're not getting anything out of it.
Hmm.
But to each his own.
Yeah. Somebody said maybe she's having fun. A lot of American women have bank. That is true, but so because you have money, does that mean that you should not be expecting a man to still pay or do what is expected of a man?
Mm.
What if a man did the same thing she did? What exactly are you referring to, Afro Latinx? They don't think it is true. I want no scrub. Selling yourself short. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. When it comes to like some of the gender roles and the things that are expected of men and women when we're dating, I feel like when they're switched around, it is kind of weird. And I don't know. I mean, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like isn't that kind of emasculating or demasculating, however you say it?
Mm.
I don't know.
Something like that. I heard the word
Yeah,
emasculated the guy.
yeah. To have a woman pay for your whole date, isn't that kind of weird?
Mm, it depends. I mean, is it done because okay, we're in difficult times right now. A lot of people are not working because of the lockdown,
Hmm.
and let's say you have a job. I mean, I'm lucky that I work for a food company, so we have to work.
Hmm.
So I haven't missed a paycheck, and there are a lot of people in my in that have not. And if it was, I mean, if you want to do something nice for somebody who is going through a hard time because of the lockdown or whatever, I mean, yeah, it would be a nice thing to do.
Hmm. So Afro Latinx, would he be viewed the same way as desperate? I don't think so because that's something that we expect from men for the most part. I mean, sure, some women are okay with like doing 50-50 or whatever, but we expect that if a man takes us out, he's gonna pay because that's the man's role, I guess you could say. So no,
Mm.
I wouldn't say that as desperate. I would say that as he's doing what he's supposed to do. I don't know, but again, when you see a woman do it, not to say that it's wrong, but it is, I think, sometimes viewed kind of funny.
Yeah, it goes like on the gender role that people have assigned, but there's nothing wrong with it. If she wants to do it because she likes the guy, and because she is fair.
Okay, so Morena said, okay, like God has said, if it's his birthday, what's wrong with that? Okay, well, I mean, special occasions, I wouldn't be against it. No, I mean, if it's his birthday, I think there's nothing wrong with treating your man. I mean, that's fine. I don't know. I guess If it was like a first date type of situation and she paid for his date, I would see it kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, but
Look, in my last relationship that lasted about a year or so, I pay most of the time. I'm traditional that way.
hmm
I feel that's the way it should go. But
hmm
there were times that we went out and she insisted on paying. And I
mm,
say, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. She said, I want to do this for you today.
yeah. What's good, Georgia TV? The occasional treat from a woman is fine. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
Mhm.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. It is a double standard. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like there's a lot of double standards when it comes to relationships. I
Mm.
mean, not saying that is right, but I feel like this kind of is what it is. I feel like there's certain things that women we just automatically expect from a man, and vice versa. Leadership comes with obligations. Some women have money and don't care about paying. I mean, that's true. Some don't. Some really don't. But I guess that it comes back to the question. So, are they considered a dustpan for not letting the man pay? Like, how are they viewed? Um, a female is okay with 50-50 because they benefit from it. Yeah, that's true. That's the
Mm.
thing. I'm not so stuck in the generals to the point where it's like, okay, a man can never kind of sit back and let the women take charge a little bit, or the women can be the one to step up sometimes and take her men out and treat him like, I feel like there's always exceptions. Like the roles can kind of, switch back and forth a little bit. So again, I'm not like totally against it, but again, I mean, I guess we're coming into a different era. This stuff is more normal, I suppose.
Mm. Yeah, but I don't think that's what they're talking here in this meme.
Again, we're just speculating here. We don't really know what the background subject is on this, this meme or this picture. We don't know, is this a first date, or is this a couple that's been together for a minute and like, they was mentioning maybe it's his birthday. Like, I guess it would depend on the circumstances, but
Mm.
yeah.
And where does this happen?
I don't know. I've never done that.
Mm.
Women make their own money to shoot achieve that. Yeah. I, that is a very colonized way of thinking about relationships and money. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I've never paid for a date. Well, at least not the whole date. Now there was one date with my kids' dad where we ended up going to one of those Brazilian restaurants, where they cut the meat for you at the table and stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
make it so expensive, and he didn't realize how expensive it was going to be.
A
He didn't
churrasquera?
have enough money. So I ended up having to pay part of the bill, but I was okay with it. He was trying to take me out for my birthday, and I was like, well, it's a thought that counts. At least he was trying to do something nice.
Wait, wait, wait. He took you out for your birthday
Yeah,
and you pay?
no, not the whole thing. Part of it because he didn't realize how expensive it was going to be, and at the time we were still pretty young. We were like 20, 21, something like that. So we both weren't like making bank like that. So
Okay. Okay,
I,
so when is your birthday? Guys, jot that down. Take her out during her birthday. She will
yeah,
pay.
yeah, he felt really bad. He was embarrassed. I was like, okay, it's all right. I mean, we kind of had no choice though. I had to pick up the part that he couldn't pay.
Mm.
So again, it depends on the situation. If a man who doesn't pay is a dust, then how's a woman who pays label the same thing? Hmm. Good question. Good question. If he can't pay a simple date, he's future difficulty that shouldn't be okay with struggle love. And see, that's another thing too, because I guess that's maybe what some women are kind of looking at. Like if you kind of set up that precedent where you're already paying from stuff first stuff from the jump, then what can you expect later on? Like is he going to be expecting you to pay? Like say you get a house together. He's going to
Well, I will advise to against just looking at that one occasion. I mean, that one thing because a lot of it could be happening, and I don't want to repeat myself. But we're going through difficult times. They said that in this year, the year of COVID, you met somebody, you met a guy that you think he's a good guy, but he's struggling because I don't know they close his business or whatever. He doesn't have a lot of work. What are you going to do? Okay, call me back when you have a job.
Mm,
You want to check it out. You know,
yeah.
if it turns out that the guy, okay, yeah, maybe he's broke because he's bad with money, and live with his parents, have a bunch of credit cards. That's a bad prospect. What I'm basing against is just to look at one thing and think, okay, that's a really a big red flag. Okay, just pay attention to it, but just give yourself more time. I mean, you don't know what's the situation at the moment. People
Mm,
can turn the life around, and if quickly if you give them a chance.
yeah. If anything, it is more a display of power. It puts the woman in control. That's true. But that's also why I said earlier. So is that not demasculating to y'all as a man? Like if a woman, she kind of
Nope, not me. Maybe when I was younger. Yeah, after.
okay. I had women play. I had women plenty of times pay for me, but it was a 50-50 thing. I'll pay for a whole day, and next day she would pay. Okay. See, I mean that's okay. I mean, if you're kind of going back and forth, I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing.
Well, it depends. If you take her to a fancy restaurant and she takes you to Taco Bell, it's.
Nah, he didn't have a credit card at the time. Yeah. I was told by women that pay for a cruise, like to Vegas, and oh, interesting. Okay. Um, yeah. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. You can't whine about submission and let your queen spearhead. It's okay on occasions, but 95% of the time, you king should take charge. So I guess that just goes back to what you want in a relationship, I guess, and
Mhm.
that would be decided more on a case by case basis. Now, if you are looking for more of a traditional relationship, then yeah, I mean, I think it's expected that you're going to be the one paying for stuff and kind of taking on that lead role or whatever. Um, and that just comes with wanting your women to be submissive. I think if you want a woman to be submissive, then you're gonna have to take charge, and like part of that is paying for stuff.
Well, here's another angle. Let's say, yeah, the guy always paid when you go out for the date, but you also invite him to your house, and you cook for him. That could be another way of things balancing out. I mean, it's your because yeah, you're the one that every time you're going to eat in the house, you're always the one that cooks and provide everything, and that what will be one way to balance it. That's what I said. Don't just look at one thing, because the relationship, you cannot define a relationship only okay in what you do when you go out.
Right, that's
Yeah,
true.
their relationship is a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
not just going out on a date. So how the other person behaves outside of the date, like I said, like I just said, the example of she cooking for you,
Hmm.
or whatever other things may be happening in the relationship. You
Yeah.
think, okay, yeah, she's a good, I have a good prospect here, paying for a date is nothing.
Hmm. Hmm. And yeah, what Crazy Boy said is true too. Men in the 20s don't have much resources. It's not until the 30s that we have a more stable career and start making more money. Yeah. So, I mean, again, at the time, I was understanding of his situation because, again, we were pretty young and we were way out of our league with that restaurant,
Hmm.
'cause I was, what, a waitress at the time. Like, I wasn't making a whole lot of money either. So it's, it varies depending on the relationship, on the situation. And, but at the time I didn't see it as like, oh my gosh, he couldn't pay for this day. He broke and this and that. I can't message you no more. Like, I stuck with them, and later on, he ended up making more money. So, um, many women that have bank have low self esteem. Womanizers take advantage of these women.
Mm.
Hmm. You think so?
That happens both ways,
Hmm. I can't. He wouldn't go for it. He was low broke. He was. I always go out on a date expecting to pay, but I hate when girls want to meet up at clubs. I refuse to do that. No bottles on me. They always give me suggestions.
Yeah, that happens. The Dominican Republic, that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go. You agree to meet with somebody, and then you said somebody's over there with three other guys or girls. Said, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah, yeah. No, that's funny because I've heard some guys say that too about like going out to the club and then yeah, when their friends bring the girls, they kind of look at him like, "Well, you gonna pay for my friends too?" And they're like, "What? Like I'm here for you, not you and all your girlfriends. Like, what are you
Mm.
doing?" But I mean, I guess if the man has money, then he wouldn't mind.
Yeah, yeah. That's another thing. Yeah. Mm.
Cynthia G called my cousin a Dusty. Who's your cousin, Moreno? And why she call her a Dusty? She took him on a date, so I guess she pays. Well, I mean, if the woman initiated the date, then I don't know. I guess maybe that's fine. I would just see it more of being kind of weird if like he set up the date and asked her out and she still ended up paying. Feminism has destroyed chivalry. It was expected for him to be the best he can be to have a woman. Now making it low expectation equals weak, broke men. Sadly, pandemic excuse saving for a rainy day.
Mhm.
Well, I will agree with the fact that feminism, to an extent, did destroy chivalry because a lot of women took on this attitude of I don't need men doing this and that for me. I can do it myself. I'm the same as you. So yeah, so men kind of now feel like, well, she's doing it herself. Why do I need to do this and that? Or they see it as they're being what's the word? When they let men do stuff for them, like they're kind of being put beneath the man. I don't know.
Mhm. No, look at the way I see it. When I was young, I was in college. I went to college in Puerto Rico, and I was broke because I wasn't working. I was just in college. Uh, I live with my parents, and whatever they gave me, that's what I have. So yeah, it was easy in Puerto Rico because on the weekends, I mean, if you wanted to do something, you just go, you pull your money with your friends, you buy beer, you go to the beach and just sit there and have fun just
Hmm.
at the beach, and if you meet somebody that usually was a day, let's go to the beach and you scrap whatever you have, and that was I was young in college, I
Yeah.
wasn't working yet, so. Uh, uh, what I warn about is just not focusing on, oh, this guy cannot pay for a date. Well, you need to consider what's what else is he's doing. You're talking
Mhm.
about somebody that is in college, happens to be struggling, but is putting his life around at the moment, versus somebody who doesn't care about spending money
Yeah.
because like I said, he also lives with his parents. He has a bunch of credit cards. His credit score is like 300 or so, and that you don't have a future with this guy because that guy will always be broke because he doesn't care about throwing money around that he doesn't have. So yeah, you may have fun once or twice because he pays for everything, but you don't have a future with that guy because he doesn't know how to handle money.
Mhm.
Versus somebody that, like I said, might be struggling at the moment, but over the long term, might be a better prospect for you. And a lot of people don't think that way when they just think about the moment. Oh, okay, he didn't pay the day. Okay, to hell with him. Well,
Yeah. Ladies in the chat, I want to hear from some of you women as well. How do y'all feel about paying for dates?
one moment.
Okay. Goddess energy, come on to the panel. Don't be shy, ladies. Don't be shy. Drama free live tonight. Drama free. A tacaño is a person who has but is too stingy to give. A dusty is broke. Yeah, there's a difference there.
Was
Um,
too dark in here for some reason.
you should not be dating if you can't afford it. Mm.
What? What? Oh, come on! I don't agree with that. What? So are we talking about a business here then?
Well, hey, a lot of people treat relationships these days as a business.
Yeah. So what about poor people? Poor people don't they have a right to date? You know.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do with what you have, you know. I mean, if
Hmm.
you have the money, then I guess home dates it is, dinner and a movie or whatever.
Yeah, that's a lot of things that you can do without having to take somebody to a restaurant.
Right, work within your means, right?
Hey, there, work within your means. That's the win from Morena.
You have to have a budget for dating.
Mm.
Hmm.
What if you
Most
don't have a job?
wouldn't be here with that mindset.
That's true.
That is true, crazy boy. Netflix and chill. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know. Netflix and chill, you can only do that for so long. I mean, at some point, I would look at it like, okay, like, can we do something different? It feels like now you're not even putting any thought into what we're doing. Um,
You can take her to a picnic.
that's true. Okay, Blamoon said poor people should go on cheap dates. Yeah, I mean, and that goes back to, doing things within your means. Like, if you can't afford to go to a fancy restaurant or whatever it is, then do something more DIY. Or, like, is it a picnic? Like, going to some type of outdoor thing that's free,
Hmm.
free concert, whatever it is. I mean, I think you can find things to do. You just gotta get creative or
Hmm.
shoot, look online for free cheap dates. I'm sure there's people online with ideas.
Yeah, and if it works out 10 years from now, those are the memories that you're gonna treasure. Oh, yeah, you look at those pictures. Look at how we started. Remember when we went on that date to that picnic because we didn't have a lot of money, and look at what we have now.
Yeah. Gotta say, don't date, focus on yourself. Some girls are happy with a botella de Brugal and Jimmy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. And that's another thing. Not every woman has the same level of expectations. Like, for me, I don't really consider myself very high maintenance. Like, I wouldn't mind having a day, say somewhere like in DR and eating fritura and walking alongside, in Malecón or whatever. Like that to me would be something fun. Like as
Hmm.
long as I'm enjoying the person's company, like I would be cool with that. But of course, every now and then, or for like a birthday or a special occasion, it's nice to be treated out to like a nice restaurant or I
Hmm.
don't know, doing something that we don't normally do or taken into I don't know, a museum or like I'm not against going to like theater productions or things like that if you're into that type of stuff.
Hmm.
Or take me dancing. I'm good with that. Because I love to dance. Take me to one of these Latin clubs and I'm good. And just feed me. And I'll be
Yeah.
happy.
No, no. The thing I will hate that somebody will miss on the relationship of their life because of a menial thing about who pays for a day. Come on, that's the only thing I'm worrying about. I mean, if the guy always refused to pay for a day, that's one thing. But if on the first time, he's honest with you, look, I cannot afford to pay to take you to this place, but let's go to this other place, or do something more to my budget.
Hmm.
At least he's honest.
Yeah. How the F is Netflix and chill a date? This generation is lost. Hey, man. What can I say? I mean, we are kind of limited right now. That is the reality. But hey, there's people that's been doing virtual dates. I haven't tried that, but I have a friend who did that a few times, and she said it was actually kind of nice. They both like watched the same movie or something at the same time or the same show, and they were both
What?
like drinking and talking virtually. You know,
Okay.
so that's an idea. I don't know.
Mm, yeah, I'm old fashioned. I don't think I'll go for that.
Walking around the park and getting to know each other. Yeah, that's good too.
Hmm.
That's always good. Who that is? What's up, right?
Yeah, Dominican style.
Mm. I think if you're younger, then it's okay. It's different. It's okay to start from the bottom, but if you're older and struggling, your priority shouldn't be dating. That's just my opinion.
Okay, well, that's a different thing.
Join the panel, guys. Link in the pinned comment. Don't be scared to join. Okay, why you, Vincent? Why are you promoting this guy over here? Nobody cares. Stability is a major part of the process. If you're braiding together, then you can create other problems. Mm. Uh, yeah, passport fella. How about you come up and teach me? Because you must be a professional. Come and show us how you move. I can deal with honesty and clear communication. Um, the present is valuable. Can't wait for a man to be stable in the future. A woman's clock. Well, another thing that us women have to, many times take into consideration. Um, Again, it's tough because it's like how do you determine a man that may not be in the best position financially or stably, but they have the potential to get to where they want to be, versus someone that again is in a not so great situation, but they're most likely just going to stay there. Like, how do you determine which category he falls under? Because in a way, that is a risk, I think, as you get older, dealing with a man that isn't stable. But again, you don't want to miss out with maybe potentially being with a really good guy just because he wasn't where you want him to be at that specific moment. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what communication is for. I mean, that's what courtship is for. You're supposed to be knowing each other.
right. Yeah, I mean, I think Vincent, you can go to his live, bruh. You can go over there. You feel his live's more interesting, go over there, bro. It's all good. Yeah. So, but like you said, communication is a big part of that, though, and I guess it comes with determining: do you feel that this person has the motivation or the potential to, get somewhere in life? So.
Yeah, and there are no shortcuts. You really will. If you really want to know, you really have to get to know the guy or the girl, whatever the situation is. Like, ask questions, open your eyes really wide, and look around. And look what is it makes sense. Is it what he tells you makes sense? Okay, you go with it. If it doesn't, you go with your gut. Your heart will not lie to you. If you feel something is wrong, you may have to put on the brakes and get out of the relationship if you feel it won't work for you. But yeah.
Right. Create a list of fun activities to partake in. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Let me see.
Food trucks. They have a really good food, so.
His potential must be active. He has to show progress of growth, and he has to have clear communication, of course. Right, agree. Let's see. Most women leave a good man for a Chad who doesn't care about them. Well, that does happen too. I mean, a lot of times women, we will leave a good man that treats us good for one that maybe stimulates us in a different way, if that makes sense, and has more of like a certain image that we find to be more appealing. But then he don't really care about us, or he's a player, or whatever the case is. Like, I don't know. I think because a lot of times we are still like emotional based, we'll leave the good one for one that again stimulates us emotionally and all that, even though they may not be that good. So that is something women, we sometimes have to work on as well. What's up, Aniel? If he doesn't have the receipts to back it up, he's a liability. Thanks for women. Yeah. I think women nowadays just need a big hug. All right. What's good, guys? Ramon, Montenegro, what's good? What's good?
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
So
Thanks for
what do you think?
Thanks for letting me up, chica.
Yeah, no problem. So how do you feel about this? How do you feel about women paying for dates and kind of taking the lead when it comes to stuff like that?
Well, when it comes to that, one has to take into consideration how the person or the lady has been brought up. I mean, we're living in a time where women are more liberated, right? Women make their own careers, right? Women, they want the equality. So being able to treat shouldn't be such a big deal, because it's not fair to have a mentality of like, okay, He has to take me out all the time, even if I make just as much money as him, or maybe even more. But he still has to remain chivalrous at all times, so I can save my money. I mean, I don't know. I think that on occasion, it's only fair that she also treats. It's really about being fair about it. We're living in 2020, and and women are more liberated, and they can do their own thing. They have their own money, their own careers, which is perfectly fine. It's great. I mean, a man in his confidence shouldn't be intimidated by that. He shouldn't have a problem with that. But if it's a couple that has been dating and they have been getting to know each other for some time and all of that, then they should be. It's kind of like it's a sharing thing. It's a matter of sharing. And on occasion, now, if the woman has to pay for everything all the time, then she is being used, and that's not a good situation. That's not a good situation to be in, and there should be. The woman, if the woman has a career, then she should be smart enough to spot when she's dealing with a bum and not dealing with him. I mean, pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not rocket science.
Right. Hey, what's up, Onion?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Aniel was missing in action.
¿Qué pasó?
If I can chime in for a moment.
So, in regards to that topic, I think just because of I mean, I'm not a feminist myself, but just because women are entering into the workforce, they're having the same salaries as men, like they're reaching that point, right? The idea that there is this sort of like asymmetry in regards to women and male into the question of paying or not paying the thing, right? Is not going to be there eventually, you know. For example, as in Norway or countries like in North European countries, where women almost like make the same money as men. Weird. It is really weird to assume that men are going to pay the check, right? But in the cases of where men makes more money than women, I think that is going to be it's going to be normal, you know. Because there's an asymmetry. So
gotcha. Yeah. Jose, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say, in the beginning, I would rather pay to the date at first, because at that point I'm trying to get to know the lady first. So therefore, I want to get to know her. And I want to know where she's at. Now, at some point, if the relationship develops, and maybe once in a blue moon, if the lady wants to treat me, I will be okay with the understanding it's more like a treat for me, because I'm a little bit old-fashioned in that sense. The men usually treat the lady, okay. But I do understand that today there are many types of women. So that I do try to bear in mind where the lady's coming from.
Right. MXC, what's up?
Hola, mi amor. It's MXC in the place to be.
Finally made it onto a live stream.
Yeah, but I don't look too well because I've been sick. I caught a spasm. I ended up bruising my nerves in my spine, so I've been really effed up the last week.
Okay.
It's painful, trust me. It sounds a lot more painful than what I say. It's painful.
What I find problematic though is that the cases in which the women makes the same money and even more money than the men, this sort of like the women expecting the men to pay her you know, her bills, you know, is a little bit it's like a double
Can I
standard,
make
right?
one statement though?
What was up?
Can I make one statement though? You have people like J Lo. I mean, J Lo before used to date her side dancers, and she used to fit the bill.
You
Yeah,
said she
she's a celebrity
used to
though.
date her side dancers?
Hello.
Yeah, you said she used to date who?
She used to date one of her side dancers, and she used to fit the
Oh,
bill. One of her dancers.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah, but
that's
she's a
why, because
celebrity.
she was a celebrity, and also I think they were like young guys, so there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
some weird MILF relation there.
Yeah, the dancer was a much younger dude, so she was
Yeah,
kind of like being a sugar mama a little bit.
yeah, that I find that
Not really. I mean,
disturbing,
you're
you
talking
know?
about J Lo. J Lo.
That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
no, no. J
Yeah,
Lo. J Lo looks good no matter how old she is.
we're not talking about her looks. So I didn't say anything about her looks. I'm saying that she was being kind of like a bit of a sugar mama. She gave him a car, and she was taking him to parties and events and things like that. I mean, and he was particularly much younger than her, several years, over a decade or so. And it's fine because they may have looked appropriate, but I mean that's kind of what the dynamic was. He was being her boy toy.
Boy, toy, yeah. I honestly
Same.
don't see nothing wrong in a woman paying like that.
Wait,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
did you say? Wait, what did you say, MSC?
I
I mean,
honestly,
I think it is wrong for the guy though, because
I
you're
don't.
in an unequal position, right? Actually, marriages in which a
No,
woman makes more money than the guy tend to end up in divorce quickly. So yeah,
Hmm.
it
I
doesn't
would like
matter
to
because
test that.
majority of
So I
marriages,
will find
like
a rich
50%.
woman and marry her and see
sure,
and see
sure.
if I end
I
up
would like to
divorcing.
test that as well, but that's,
But
but
yeah,
why
you're
not?
looking
I
for
think Bill
cougar.
Gates
You're
has a
talking about
daughter
cougar.
about your age.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay, so we have so this whole panel right now is Dominican and Puerto Rican. So do y'all feel that in our communities that this is like a thing? Is this an issue, or do the men still pretty much pay most of the time? What do y'all think? Or is there a difference between like the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans here in the U.S. versus the ones still back on the islands?
If I were to
Oh yeah,
guess,
yeah, 100%.
I
Oh,
will
let
think
me
the
go.
traditional role still exists in our community.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
when I go out dancing, there are guys who get offended when a woman asks him to dance because he said, "What the hell?" I'm the one who's supposed to ask her to dance, and guy get offended. I feel flattered when a woman asks me to dance because
yeah,
like,
but that's
okay,
not a problem. That's not a problem. I mean, guys like that should get with the times and change that mentality. There's nothing wrong if the woman
no, it
wants
doesn't.
to take the guy to the dance floor. What's the problem? What's the
No,
problem?
but no, I'm just pointing out that there are people still like that. So if I were to guess, if some guy gets offended because a woman asks him to dance, that's probably the guy who will always pay because he no, that's and sometimes this is just what it is. There are people that are like that. I mean, I have an uncle that he lives in New York, but when he came to visit, even though he was the one visiting, he insisted on paying for everything because that's his thing. He's all
I would like. I mean, I think there is some sort of like correlation between the like the economic position of the women and equality. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So maybe in Dominican, as opposed to like white people or Asians, maybe the income gap between the Latina woman and men and Latino men is higher. You know.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know that exactly, but I'm just throwing that off.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it is a good thing or it's a bad thing. You know, yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not making a claim that a woman paying or a woman asking you out is a good thing. It is just the problem is not that. The problem is that if it is possible to maintain an old style masculinity with women in the workforce making the same amount of money as you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know
all
if
about
that's
what she respects you.
sorry.
You have to start.
Hey,
You have to establish a level of respect from the woman, even if she's a professional and you're in a relationship with this woman. You have to establish yourself as the man in the relationship so that she can respect you. If you don't establish a level, you don't require for her to respect you.
But
Then it
even
can.
even even if you establish yourself as the man of the relationship, if she still makes more money than you, she'll have the upper hand in regards to everything. It's just like that. And she makes more money than you, and
Yeah.
your marriage, because of
Mhm.
that, your marriage is going to be uh, devaluated in some sense,
Well,
because
Ramon,
I
Ramon,
disagree.
if
I
your
kind of
marriage
disagree with
falls
that.
apart
I'm
because she
not
makes
saying
more money
I'm
than
not
you,
saying
hold on a second.
I'm not saying that it should be like that. I'm saying that it is factual. It's a factual thing. It's fact. It is a fact that when a woman makes more money than a man, marriages tend to be unhappy. They tend to end on divorce more quickly. So maybe because there's already a mentality of the women that she herself wants she wants the benefits of equality without assuming the real implications of equality, which is in the case of probably not women in Northern Europe are not like this, but maybe in other parts of the world like this. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm.
like women not being capable of psychologically thinking of herself. Okay, but I uh, I already have equality, so I need to my social relations should be based on that, right? But they're not willing to accept that. So they want the benefits of the
Okay,
patriarchy. So wait,
Okay,
wait, wait. Let me finish.
if
Let me
I
I
can
finish
have
just
a
really fast.
if
rebuttal
I
to
can
that.
just time for a second.
Let me finish really fast. So they want. Sorry for taking so long, but they want the benefits of the patriarchy, which involves of all this like courtesy of treatment towards women, while also having the benefits of feminism. You know what I mean? Uh, so I don't know. Maybe it is that, or maybe it's just a natural
If
biological thing that is inside of the woman. You know what I
I
mean?
think it's most likely there were problem in the relationship in a way that the money thing just came in and finished it up. I don't think if you have a stable relationship, if you're confident in yourself, okay,
That's what I'm saying.
it shouldn't matter if the woman made 10 times more than you. If you're confident in yourself and there is love and the relationship is a table, I don't think there's nothing
But
that can
confidence,
challenge it that way.
confidence do not comes from nothing. You know what I mean? Confidence is not something that is in the air. So
No,
you have
it's something that
confidence.
you have to work on.
You have confidence because of certain stuff. You have confidence because you make more money. You have confidence because you're more attractive. You have confidence because of a lot of stuff. So confidence is not this sort of like magical thing that you just subjectively
Mm,
can reach by the pure
no,
will. You know what I mean?
I
There's
think it comes
something.
from each one experience. I mean, each one background, and this is something that I have
Yeah, but
asked
that's
here.
experience, right? So
No,
you're
yeah,
basing it
no,
on
but this
something.
is something that I have asked here in the to the ladies on the string all the time. I mean, if you're out in a club and this very handsome guy to talk to you, but he's like beating around the bushes. He's not direct. He's kind of like the usual stupid line. Hey, how's the weather? Do you come here often? Versus a guy that just come in and say, hey, my name is so so. I'd like to buy you a drink. Very direct. That shows confidence.
It does.
Yeah, and that comes from experience because you learn to be direct and say, okay, I like this lady. I'm just gonna tell her. I'm not gonna be start with the stupid line. That's confidence. That's what I mean. And if you have that, if you have confidence in yourself, yeah, the woman can make $10 million. And you don't know because when you go out and you meet somebody, you don't know how they make. Yeah, they don't go around with a label.
Until no, they don't go around to the label, but there are social things that you can identify that how he dress, how he even talks. There are ways to, the shit test.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, you know that.
Mhm.
So even confidence, even the question of confidence, although it's not related
Hey,
to
CO09. Hold on a second.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to chime in for a
Mister,
second.
let me just ask you something. Have you
First of all, not all women are the same. I mean, you can put 20 women together, you're going to get 20 different personalities. Okay, so each woman you have to deal on an individual basis. Now, as far as whether a lady asks me out to dance, I will be flattered because the bottom line, if I'm going to a pub or I'm going to a party or I'm going to a social event, is to have fun. Okay. As far as if the lady makes more money, I mean, while the lady can offer financial rewards, but there are other things that a man can offer. And I think if a man is truly confident in himself, he's not going to be intimidated if the woman makes more money.
Mhm.
If he knows that he has some positive qualities that he can bring into a relationship.
The problem is that you guys are like making this as like a subjective problem on is the man's fault because he's not confident enough to have like these powerful women besides him, which is, I mean, I accept that there's a certain truth in that, but
men?
that's truth because there's
But men have
a
to get used to
whole
it.
system. There's also a whole system, and the women as well has to be used to it because women divorces are started by the women, and the dissatisfaction of the marriage is because the women perceives that she can get something better because the guy do not make enough money, to satisfy her needs. So it's not only a problem of, this guy is not confident enough. It's not like that. It's just like there's that whole system around behind that determines to a certain extent. Okay, so the value, like how do you perceive yourself socially? You know what I mean? So even if you can have the whole confidence, you can have you can be the most confident guy ever, right? But there's always going to be something behind that is against that confidence. You know what I mean? So and it is, and that's reality. That's reality. It's not. So you're going against reality. You're going against the fact that marriages in which the woman makes more money than the men tend to be of lower quality than other marriages, right?
Okay, well, my question is, what is your basis? Do you have like statistical data? Have you gone into research to make that determination to come to that conclusion?
I can search it up like right now. That's a nice statistic that I know by memory, but I can like send it up to the chat if you want.
Yeah, do so, please.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
I like to read on that.
if I could say, okay, I will agree. I will agree that generally, it's more ideal that the man makes more money. It is ideal. I'll give you that. But it's not always going to be like that because of the advances that women have made when it comes to being in the world.
Not only they are.
Well, let me finish.
Sorry.
Because of the advances that they have made, there will be situations. There will be situations in which the woman eventually, maybe not at the beginning, but eventually she might end up getting promotions, advancing in her position, and be able to make more money than the man, and she may be able to edge him out. It may happen, especially today. Now, that would make it a test to the relationship that the man and the woman have.
Wait, but
We're kind of interchangeably talking about relationships and an actual marriage. So
The problem is not only the men.
be more clear as to which
but
situation.
women outnumber
Let's not.
men.
I can recognize your argument that men are going to get used to it, yeah, sure, but then women also need to get used to it. It's not only men; it's a mutual stuff because women are also
Yeah,
dissatisfied as
but
well as
you gotta check this out though. Women outnumber men, and more women are in college than men.
men.
Mhm.
There are more women in college than men.
Okay, so Haniel just posted 2 articles. Did you want me to screen share it?
There
Can you
are
hear me?
two. There's one that says that that woman, that men, that the fact that it is bad for the mental health of the guy. The fact that women make more money than him in regards to partnership and marriage, and the second article talks about the risk of divorce. You
Mm,
know,
okay,
Oh,
so here the number of women who are the primary breadwinners in their families is on the
that's the
rise.
market watch article. Can you move it up a little bit? It's
But
important.
divorce can happen for any reason.
Can you look at the
Money
headline?
is one of the
Look
reasons.
The headline.
the headline. Look what it says. Oh, no, that's not the other one.
Oh, do you want me to bring up the other article?
Let me see. Yeah,
Let me see. Is it showing?
the
Oh,
one from Market Watch.
hold on. Okay, this one thing in your mirror. Okay.
Yeah, that one. Look at the sub headline. Research suggests that society put enormous pressures on men to live up to perceived expectation. It's so so it's an external factor there. Yeah, don't put it all on the woman. If society is putting pressure on men,
Mhm.
and it's up to the men to resist those
Okay, but
expectations.
in those situations, who are the ones that are fighting for divorce? Because generally, it's the women that fight for divorce the most. You can look it up.
Says my wife has always earned more money than me, and for a while it absolutely killed our sex life. Dead. I'm a trial lawyer now. I didn't make it. So, hmm. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't. It seems like it has like some type of like psychological effect on the man when y'all not the breadwinners. Like,
Yeah, but because it makes him insecure. It can make him insecure if he doesn't have a strong sense of self, a strong sense of confidence, and if he hasn't been able to work that out with his lady, they haven't had that talk. If they haven't had that talk, then that's something that can pile up in kind of like stress inside of the man, and he's not being able to circulate that out of his system by talking to his woman about it. Then it could become an issue. Definitely,
look.
definitely.
Even if you look, let's put it this way. Even if you have all this feminist training, yeah, women are supposed to be equal and all of that, it doesn't matter if she makes more money than me, it doesn't matter anything. Even if you make all of that training,
Mhm.
you still need to face the reality that there has been a system in place in which men have been the breadwinners, and it's probably like the beginning of times, although I'm just exaggerating, of course. But there's this, so it is not an easy thing that you can say, it's just a subjective problem on the men or the women. It is not like that. The problem is that we're individualizing this problem. So the only way that we can come back to a 50s or even pre-sexual revolution style of partnership,
Sexual revolution.
yeah, pre-60s style of like partners,
That's not where we're at today. That's not where we're at.
yeah, but for those who think that we can go back to that, the only way that we can go back to that is that reverting women entering into the workforce. That's the only way. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is probably a very improbable thing. It's going to affect the economy a lot, in the sense that it's not realistic. So I think we're not coming back Although some people can, of course, but we're not going back. It's going to be really hard to go back to a traditional sense of.
Yeah.
of
But by the way, honey, but by what I read here, I don't think this article said what you think it says. I mean, yes, there is a higher risk of divorce, but it is for marriage in which the man is not working or working part time. You know, that's a difficult situation no matter what. If one of them is not
But it's
working or work.
true, you
Yeah,
know.
so
There's also
it is
this
about
article that talks about how if the woman is the the bread winner, I think is that the term. But you know, if the woman is like that, men are going to be more stressed. It's not.
Hmm.
It's not. So I mean, if you want to have a happy marriage, you know, go to El Campo and find like an analfabeta, right?
mhm.
That doesn't speak. Probably that'll be a happy marriage, right?
Mm.
So, but
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
a happy marriage.
No,
it is
no.
a
Can you
problem.
say,
It is
can
a
you say
problem.
it again? You say what will be a happy marriage? Can you say that again? I didn't get it.
It's a sarcastic. It's like the
Mm.
you know this when people say that if you want a happy marriage, you should go to El Campo, right, and find a, like a campesina that doesn't know how to read or write, right?
Yeah, well, that campesina probably comes from a farm that produces a lot, and they have their own money, and maybe they don't have they don't have that much of an education, but they
Mm.
have but they have an annual growth because they farm
No,
and they have cattle, horses, and they make money off
it's
of it.
probably like subsistence
Mm.
farming. So I don't think we're talking
No, no.
about growth.
Just going back to the article because you said that this is your source. I mean, here it doesn't say what what you said. It said you seem to be implying that just because a
But
woman makes.
why do you think it's improbable? Why do you think you know? If you really want to get into it, we can make a meta analysis of the statistics. You know, we
Mm.
can get very
No,
picky
no,
out of
I don't
Europe.
think that's
If
necessary. I
you
mean,
want to get really picky about the statistics, you know, sure. But let's just I think there is a trend and there's an empirical fact that is better for the man for him in the marriage for his mental health to make more money than the women. That's a
mm,
fact. That's
mm.
a fact.
I have a question.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about this statement in the middle of the article that couples who put love ahead of money may be parts of a new generation that is breaking from the status conscious marriage habits of the past? Do you feel
I
that to
agree
be
with that.
I
So,
agree.
well, sounds like something that you could expect some millennials to be doing, but yeah, if it's something that is coming back to that, then so be it.
hmm.
I don't
Okay,
know. I don't know. That might be
argument a lot that for most of humanity, people married for status or
Yes, yes,
or when you bring
Yeah.
up
yes. For status,
Well,
for status, for status, finances, securing alliances between nations or groups or clans and so on. That yeah. For most of humanity, marriage has been more about those things than love.
yeah, and love is it's funny. I mean the idea that we should marriage because of love, that's that's a fairly like modern idea to a certain extent. And
but do you feel that was the case for poor people too? That they were, you don't think they were marrying for love, or I don't know.
I think what that does is just paint everybody in the same category. And again, I keep going back to the same premise. Not everyone is the same. Yes, you have people who are going to marry because of status, because of 20 million different things. However, you do have couples who do get married because of love, because that man found that special lady or that special person, and that person is prepared to spend their entire life with that person. Okay, yes, you're gonna have people who are gonna marry for status, so be it. But to state that everyone is doing that, I'm sorry, I disagree.
it's okay. I agree, you know, but there are also like very important factors in the fact. For example, uh, there's this common idea that women are hypergamous. I don't think this is a statistically truth, but what is truth is that men and women marry within their social class. So a poor woman marry a poor man, a middle class man marry a middle class woman, and a rich woman marry a rich man. So even even in that factor, love by itself. Uh, so even thinking about that, marriage is not this sort of like uh, free, like willing, like determined by this pure like free will. You know what I mean? It's not only is it is also
Historically,
depend. It is also dependent by a lot of like social factors, economical factors, and so on. In regards to the comment of like millennials um, putting love first than money, I don't I don't know about that. I think that sounds like cursi, and you know it sounds I don't know, it sounds very cursi.
So what, are you like
So
Um,
then if you try to put love before money?
no, I'm not saying that. It's just like sure you can say that, but we need to like research what is behind that. You know what, like, oh, so do they come from the same social class and all of that? So this is an important thing to take into account as well. But so yeah, even
Yeah,
yeah,
anybody
I
here?
mean, even the question of why there's people that saying that millennials are putting love before money. Maybe that's because millennials, in contrast with other like Gen X or the boomers, you know, have been affected the most by having not being capacitated to reach the amount of wealth that their parents reached when they were young, their age, you know. So maybe because they're just equal, you know, the millennials are equal in their unemployment and searching for jobs, you know.
So the
Maybe that's why
more,
they're saying they're putting love
yeah,
before
yeah,
money. You know what I mean? Maybe because you know
yeah,
you know,
what else
then
are going to put if you don't
yeah.
have money,
Right,
right?
right.
So maybe they're saying that.
well, maybe they are rethinking the values that come when it comes to the relationships and the possibility of marriage. They are rethinking those values. But historically, the marriage weren't about love. Is what we talked about before. It had to do with finances and,
mhm.
and leveling up, what they call leveling up, which is an overused term, but in those times it was really about leveling up and making sure that the other person, usually the woman, was well taken care of. So that's what you can associate the whole system of dowries that is even talked about in the Bible. And so there is a monetary component to it. There is a financial component to it. It wasn't about love and the whole arranged marriage that have been practiced. And
But millennials
were,
are not going to change that. Or simple as that. Millennials are not going to
no,
change
they're
that.
not going to change what? They're not going to change what?
They're not going to change marriage being independent of economical relations. They're not going to change that.
Hey, Macho, what's up?
They're not.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
What's up? What's up? What's good?
Not much, just here. Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So what are your thoughts on what we've kind of been talking about as far as, women making more than men or like how that affects the relationship? What do you think?
I just think that if a man gets with a woman that makes more money, he still has to put initiative around the house.
Okay.
So, like, let's say she makes more money, he has to be in charge of the finances.
Okay.
So he makes a decision. Okay, with this money, we're gonna invest in this and this and this and that. So you have to assist her making money. Like you have to almost like assist her with her money. So that's how
Okay.
you're valuable. Like in that sense, like if she makes more, you make less. That's how you add a little bit of value to yourself because you're assisting her growth and your growth as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you ever be with a woman that made more than you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you wouldn't feel like it somehow affected or negatively affected your manhood or nothing like
No,
that.
not at all. Because the thing is that the reality is that once women had the right to get at the workplace, they started making more wages.
She's going to hold you at your balls, and
No,
that's
she's
going
not
to be
gonna
the
do that.
relationship.
If you
That's going to
if
be the
Okay,
relationship.
no, no, no,
oh wait,
no.
wait,
She's going to
No,
Hanier,
No,
listen to
grab
no,
me.
your
that's not what that
your
means.
testicles
no.
and
That's not what
squeeze.
that
Insecurity.
All
I mean,
right, I mean,
there are situations we all have heard of situations in marriages where the man, okay, yes, the man goes out, works, makes the money, and then comes home and hands over the paycheck. I will never do that. But we all have heard of situations in which in the marriage there is that dynamic, and it works for them, and that's perfectly fine. I wouldn't do it, but there are situations in which that happens. That doesn't necessarily mean that the woman of the house has the man by the balls, like you say, Haniel. But if it works for them, then that's what they're gonna do.
The thing is, I mean, you should. Uh, in this case, what I'm trying to say is that you need, if you want to do that, you need to find a person that is compatible with you and have the same value system that you. Because if you find a Latina, that's probably not going to be the case.
all right. So let me tell you this: it's not who makes more; it's who saves more too.
Hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Macho, do you agree that the generations these days are marrying more for love compared to the past?
I really don't know. I mean, I'm 41 years old, so I mean, I don't know what the young generation is doing. I just think the romance is gone. It's not what it used to be. Like before,
Well,
it used to
yeah,
like the
I
romance is
think
not there like it used to be.
yeah, because the hooking up is much more easier because it has a lot to do with the social media. Swipe left, swipe
Well,
right, and
yeah.
the hookups are much more easier now. So romance, what romance? That's not necessary today.
but
Maybe
but
that's something we can kind of shift the combo now, like about this whole hookup culture and how y'all feel about that, how that has impacted relationships in general. Because I mean, I do think that kind of it has. Well, on the one hand, it's so much easier now to get in contact with people, especially through dating apps, social media. I mean, hell, even YouTube is like a dating platform now. Um, I do feel like this rapid hookup culture it has negatively impacted relationships in a way because people just see each other as like a source of instant gratification, and I feel like people aren't looking at things long term, and it's just affecting different areas. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, instant gratification is American culture. Eventually, what's going to spill into that part to also when it comes to dating and relationships, the instant gratification was going to spill
but
into eventually.
the question is if we're willing to revert the sexual revolution and sexual liberation.
Okay, but you're talking about going back to the 1950s or something?
No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. If we're talking about to revert, if we're willing, if we don't want instant gratification, because I think that's very problematic. I agree with Dina. I think about uh, the Tinder culture of like making going on a date on the basis of on a product. This is like going to the supermarket. I don't like this. Okay, I like this. Okay,
Yeah.
no. Okay, so I don't. I think that's all very pervert. But what I'm asking you guys, I'll be honest. I don't really mind. But if you guys are willing to go again, it's condoms, contraceptives, abortion, and all of that. Are you guys willing to take that place? Take that
Wait,
step?
hold
Okay,
on, hold on.
now,
You're talking about
now you just lost me altogether.
what are you talking? You're talking about
If
contraception.
you don't, if,
You
if
against that?
you can criticize, you can criticize all this instant gratification and all of that. You can criticize all of that. But are you willing to take the step to say, okay, we need to limit condoms, we need to limit contraceptives, and we need to limit abortions, and we need to sort of create this system in which marriage starts when you're 20 years old?
Okay, that's
how are you going to do that?
like
How are you going to do that?
Exactly. So
that's
why
kind
are
of
we
like
criticizing? So why are
As
we
they say, the
criticizing?
genie is out of the bottle. I
Why
mean,
are
that's.
we criticizing the fact that there's no romance? There's instant
no,
gratification.
we're just pointing
There's
out.
I don't
objectification.
believe that there is no romance. I mean, we are just
No, I
yeah.
agree with you to a certain extent.
Tinder and all that stuff. Yes, it's on the news, but I believe in the end, people will look for their happiness. That's never going to change. Yes, you may have fun once in a while, using those applications on Facebook, social media, or whatever, but sooner or later you're going to learn that there's nothing good there in the long term for you.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean,
but
instant gratification. That's
But
instant
even 50% of the marriages end on divorce. So we're living in this sort of like polygamous society already.
It's been like that for like 30 years.
What I'm
50%
trying to yeah,
divorce
30
rate is
years, and
still
there's a lot of time where there's that time of the sexual revolution. So what I'm trying to say is there's no point in criticizing that there is no romance, that there is no emotion, that there is no that everything is instant. If we're not willing to take the step of
But something that I'm trying to understand, honey, and you were talking about limiting. You were talking about limiting contraceptives. What what's that all about? Where does that come from? When you say that,
I'm sure that without contraceptives, there wouldn't be sexual revolution.
okay, are you Catholic? Is that the Catholic in you talking?
No. I'm not saying.
Okay.
You know what
Okay, okay.
What I'm trying to say. I'm not being a normative guy. I'm not saying that we should do this. No, I'm just saying if we criticize this sort of like Tinder romance, Tinder like hegemony on love that we have now, right? Then or are you willing to take the step to limit that, or are we just going to cry about it?
Okay, who's crying? Well, who's crying? We're just finding out what's
You just
happening.
said that there was no romance. There's instant gratification. You said that.
I did say. I'm pointing out
There's some nostalgia there. There's some sentiment of nostalgia when you say, "Oh, there's a side of instant gratification." The problem is, are you willing to go back? Are you willing to revert that, or are you not? So
okay, but
if you're not willing to criticize contraceptives, condoms, and abortion, then just assume that you created this problem. Just assume
but you're talking about going back to before the 1960s or the sexual revolution. I wasn't alive back then. I mean, I don't have a frame of reference as to whether I would like to live in that time because I wasn't around in that time. I'm not concerned with that time. I'm living in the now. When I was born in the 70s, people it was a big orgy back then. I mean, not where I'm from, but at least in the United States, it was the post-flower power era where people were snorting and smoking and laying over each other and swinging and
that's probably a part of the sexual revolution, right? Millennials and Gen Z are
but I didn't live through that era, so I don't think that I go back.
Millennials and Gen Zs are already having less sex than
that's on them.
Gen Xers, actually. My generation is having less sex than yours.
I heard somebody say that the other day. Is it really true?
Yes, it's true.
Why is that?
Probably because of
COVID.
First of all, as far as the 50s are concerned, I mean, there was a totally different world then. Basically, in the 50s, one income was enough to maintain a family. Okay, so there's no way that one income can maintain a family unless the person is super rich, whether it be male or female. So talking about going back to the 50s or whatever, I mean, you can talk about it, but that's not good. That's not going to change the situation. Now, for some people, yes, they're only looking for instant gratification. Okay, and that's then. But for me, I'm not in that category. I mean, I'm looking for something serious, and I have enough confidence in myself. I can say, look, I can offer this, I can offer this. It's up to you whether we are a good match. I mean, but this, but going back to the 50s, with all due respect, that's never going to happen, because that was like a totally different environment then. It was totally different social mores then.
And going back to that era here in the United States, we'll be going back to Jim Crow. I don't want to make this about race, but I don't
Neither
want
do I.
Sure, but I'm not thinking about going back. I'm not. First, I'm not advocating for that. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to cry about. I think it's useless to cry about the fact that
You keep saying that. You keep saying like we're sitting here crying about something. What are we
no,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about?
But if there's people there that that think that there's no romance, that we have in this society of instant gratification, that we see
Mhm.
sex as this like we objectivize the other, uh, sure. If you're not willing to go against contraceptives, condoms, and abortion, then shut the fuck up and assume
Here
that
we
that
go.
is going to be the society that we have created. And there's no solution to that unless there's like this huge, like the AIDS epidemic over again or something like that. So there's
But you
always a
keep
material
bringing me,
piece.
you keep bringing me back to limiting condoms and contraceptives and abortions and like okay, I'm not making the connection. Okay, there is a hookup culture that we're dealing with today, but you keep going back to before the sexual revolution and limiting condoms and abortions and other contraceptives and like I keep hearing your Catholicism. I keep
It's
hearing
going to get worse. What I'm trying
Okay.
to say is that it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because abortion is expanding, contraceptives are expanding, and condoms are expanding. It's
What's
going
wrong
to
with
get
that?
worse
But wasn't it said that the newer generations are having less sex anyway?
because they're having less contact.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why such a concern for abortion? Why such a concern
Well,
for
not really
for,
that because they're
for
trying
using
other
contraceptives?
genders too. They're trying other genders too. So that's why they're having less sex with the same. We're male and female now. It's a little different. They have more options
No, there's
sexually.
also probably there's also more like
Well,
pornography.
that's really that's really another thing. That's another subject
Probably
because
there's
we're
also
talking
more.
about different lifestyles,
There's
different private lifestyles. What people do in the bedroom, like.
but
mm,
it is only my generation, Gen X, Gen Z, are having less sex than millennials and Gen Xers.
Hmm.
So probably
Because they
because
watch a lot
we
of Pornhub. They watch a lot of Pornhub.
maybe there's a lot of like
It's
there's a
the
lot of
porn
like
industry messed up everything.
pornography
The porn industry
consumption. There is
messed up everything.
the fact that
The
we are
Yeah,
Yeah,
the male and female
it's a lot of
relationship has been
it's a
messed up
lot
by
of
the
sex.
porn industry.
It would be great if we can get someone
Well,
on what we
you know,
call
it was the porn.
Hello?
It
Can I
would
say
be
something?
great.
Is that Hernandez?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It would
Oh
be
no.
great if we. I'm sorry.
Ooh. No, I just wanted to say that there's bigger things to worry about than just the younger generation having sex. I mean, there's bigger things to worry about than that, and the abortion stuff and whatever you guys are talking about. I think there's bigger things to worry about than those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what's bigger?
Um, I mean, like climate change, something like that, or social I mean, social issues.
Sausage.
Social issues like
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay,
Well,
I mean, it just seems kind of weird that you guys
wait,
are
isn't
getting
the
worried
fact that
about younger kids not having
wait,
sex.
isn't the fact that a whole generation is not having like contact like the previous generations a social issue?
Okay,
That's a social issue.
honey, how do you know this is very that different from what it was in the past? Because I agree that technology makes things easier, but I think there are always been people that wants instant gratification.
You
Condoms
know
is
what?
not a
You
new
know
thing.
what's
Condoms were around
interesting
for
about
a hundred.
you? You
Condoms
like
have been around for more than 100 years. I mean, they were using World War I. But they give it to the soldiers so that they didn't get sick. So it's not a new thing. So we're not talking about
what's
new
not
things
a
here.
new thing? The sexual liberation is not a new thing for you.
Well, well,
The
yeah.
fact that people go into marriage at 30s and not at 20s is not a.
No, yeah, that is true. That is happening.
Don't tell me.
People are getting married older.
Don't tell me this is just a normal thing. There's new things. You know what I mean?
No. What is normal is change. Things change and society
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say, yeah. But notice, I'm not driving any argument. I'm not saying that we should go back. I'm not saying anything of that. I'm just saying that if you want to replace instant gratification and this society of Tinder, you're not going to replace that by going by just crying about it. You're going to replace that by precisely limiting sexual the sexual liberation. You're going to replace that with that.
How? I mean, you're talking about
And
individual liberty.
I said that. Yeah, I said that. I said how contraceptives, abortion, and condoms. And if you don't want to do that, it's okay. But stop bitching about
I fail to see the correlation that you keep making between the hookup culture that we're dealing with now.
So you don't think there's a correlation between hookup culture and the fact that we can wait? You don't think there's a correlation between hookup culture and condoms and contraceptives and abortion?
Well, I mean, if there is going to be a hookup culture, then it will be necessary. It will be necessary.
If you want to, if you don't see reality,
it will be necessary for the condoms to be available if there is going to be a hookup culture.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a relation.
No, but you
want the condom has been around for more than 100 years. That's what I'm saying.
No, wait, Julia. No. Not in a massive sense we have like now. Nor contraceptives. There's a difference.
Well, I'm talking about condoms specifically.
I'm sure contraceptives.
Not having contraceptives can only make matters worse.
Hey y'all, so we have a girl on the
but we're going to limit. Sure, but we're going to limit. That's the only way to fight back the.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
Hey. Oh, I wanted to say that COCA09. That I completely understand what he's saying. What he's saying is that women would be less likely to engage in casual sex or hookup culture if they didn't have so many safety nets, such as birth control, such as abortions, right? So sort of taking those things away would sort of kind of be a solution. I think that's what he's trying to say.
A solution that is going to bring up problems because you're not going, and not only women, also men, men have the condoms. So it's going to be a solution that is going to as well create problems. So what I'm trying to say is that we're not going to, there's always going to be a problem. So sexual repression of pre-50s sexual repression is a problem. Post-50s sexual liberation is a problem. So maybe the problem is not whether we restrain sex or whether we liberate sex. Maybe the problem is sex in itself, So
you're saying it's bad having sex? It's bad having sex?
No.
You want celibacy?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're always going to have problems. We're always going to have.
Why? What's the problem?
Okay, so you want to substitute a set of problems with a set of problems?
Don't say I want. Don't say I want. I'm just saying that, or we assume that hookup culture is better than sexual restraint, or we assume that sexual restraint is better than hookup culture.
I think sexual restraint is better. You know why? Because a man a man has to work harder to get a woman's affection. He has to be more creative. Well, hookup culture, you don't have to be as creative.
True.
Wait, what are you trying to say, much? I don't get
You
it.
heard it. You have ears, right?
Yeah, but like, can you elaborate on that? That sounds the way you.
It was just look.
It's
I'm
very
41 years
hermetic.
old. I'm 41 years old. I remember being in class. You had to write a nice little poem. Like just be very creative with a flower, leave it in a locker, like just do stuff like that. Like you had to. And also too, the music back then was a lot of love music was really popular back then. So you would picture like falling in love with your crush, like, oh my God, she could be my girl. Now you just look at a girl, it's like, oh, I want to hit. So it was a little bit, the perception was a little bit different back then. But yeah, you just had to be more creative back then in order to court a woman.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying, right? Since sex got easier to get, love is harder to find. I don't know if you guys ever heard that before, but yeah, that's basically true.
Maybe I mean, when wa- when was love easy to find? That's
No,
the
but I was
no.
go ahead.
So I think it's just, I don't know. I'm just saying that we're always going to have problems because sex is a problem in itself. You know. Um,
But can I
Irresponsible
also
sex. Irresponsible sex is a problem. Sex itself is what keeps humanity going.
yeah.
but I'm referring more in this sort of like a spiritual or more like metaphysical level. You know.
Well,
Not
yeah,
even
just in spiritual or metaphysical. We're just talking the reality that we live in.
and that's the reality. The reality is that sexual restraint creates problems, and sexual liberation creates problems.
So we just messed up.
Okay,
All of
So if you're willing, if you're willing to, what I find that is a what I found the problem that I find is to think that if we have all the benefits of sexual liberation, contraceptives, condoms, and abortion, we're going to sort of have we cannot have two things at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, you're not going to have the commitment of sexual restraint with the tools of sexual liberation.
Okay, but
It's not possible.
okay, but are you talking about sexual restraint for both genders? Because I mean, usually, historically, when it comes to sexual restraint, that is usually more promoted towards the woman. I mean, not so much to the man. Is that what you're talking about?
To a certain extent, it was also promoted to men to a certain extent. But
Yeah,
I agree with you that sexual restraint it was more a woman thing, but it was also a man thing. You cannot.
yeah, I totally agree. But men will work things out, and it will not be such a big deal because in the Bible itself,
Sure,
if you're making this about religion, if you want to bring the religion component to it, I don't think does the Bible ever say anything about the men having to be celibate until marriage or anything like that. Not that I know of. Now there is more
I'm not
expectation
talking about religion, but in the past, I mean, in the 50s, for probably
it was
19
more religious back then. The society was more
But
religious.
even about that,
Few.
men introduced themselves. The introduction of men into sexual life was mainly through marriage, and women as well. We don't have that anymore, right?
Well. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of the time, the man will have to have some experience to a degree. We all have heard of the stories about how the fathers at a certain age they will take their sons to a certain type of location where they will lose their virginity.
But it is not true. It is not true that men has always been sexually liberated. It's not like that. Of course, they were more they were less celibate than women, but at the same time, the sexual restraint was also towards them, not also only towards women.
Is that what you want? Is that what you want for
No, I'm
yourself?
not saying what I want, or
Those
I'm not
restraints
saying that.
over
What I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to complain about sexual liberation if
You're not complaining, but you
I'm
keep
not
bringing it up.
willing to take the escape of sexual restraint.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say.
no, what I think here, look, and I wrote this in the chat, is application like Tinder, so it's just making it easier for people that were going to hook up anyway to do it. I mean, since I moved here around to Maryland, I moved from Puerto Rico in 2010. That's when I started using OkCupid, Match.com. None of those work for me. I met the mother of my child and my last girlfriend and all the girlfriend I have dancing. That's what I know how to do. I go around Baltimore dancing clubs, and that's how I salsa, merengue, bachata. That's how I met people. That's how I meet people. Those applications don't work for me, and just because the fact that they're available, I don't think it is increasing is creating this massive hookup culture thing. I think that's just people talking. Okay, if you're into that, you were going to find a way to do it, even if there was no such a thing as Tinder or OkCupid or whatever. It was always there. You just make it easier for people that were going to do it. People that are not into that, people that are restrained, as you like to say, are not going to go into that. Yeah, if you can point something that say, okay, look, since Tinder became available, marriage went down. Okay, well, I will look into that, but I don't think that they are going to have just such an effect.
Not only
The people
Tinder,
that are using Tinder now,
even before Tinder, I'm talking about the whole sexual liberation thing. That's what I'm talking.
Okay, that was happening before Tinder, and I think it's just making it easier now for people to find themselves.
I don't think I'm not reducing the problem to Tinder here.
Mhm.
There are also more problems. But yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. You cannot have sexual liberation with having you cannot you cannot have the same thing, you know.
I keep hearing you're kind of hung up on the whole sexual liberation, less sexual liberation. Like, what's your issue when it came to the sexual liberation? I don't think you were alive.
If you don't see that there is a relation between hookup culture and sexual liberation, then I'm willing just to go
two
out.
different eras, two different time periods, two different time periods.
I'm using. There's no. Let's change the topic.
We're talking about.
I'm not going to be a nanny here trying to explain you with manzanitas about stuff, you know. So if you don't see the relation, then it's okay.
Okay,
we're talking about a 50-year time gap between what's happening now and what you're referring to, the sexual revolution. It's a 50-year time gap.
All right, y'all. Apple, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. How do you feel about Sims and Crazy Boy's comment that Sims enable women's bad behavior?
Let me just say, I do think there's a connection between sexual liberation and hookup culture. Like sexual liberation kind of opened the door for that, so there is a connection. And Sims, what did you say?
Oh, okay. So Crazy Boy said Sims enable women's bad behavior. I'm not exactly sure what he means by bad behavior.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about Sims in general?
From what I understand,
what is a simp?
A simp is a man who like will do a lot of things for a woman who's not even interested in him, like something like that. I think that's what it is. Like it's unrequited love, but he keeps trying, even though there's no chance. That's what a simp is. I mean,
Paraguayo, okay.
Yeah, whatever. Women that clearly don't want him and going extra and above.
That's what a simp is. I mean, I think the word simp sometimes it's overused.
I agree.
Sometimes for a man who's just treating a woman kindly, but I understand the concept of what it is.
That's true, because a lot of times, the good guys, or like you said, a guy that's actually treating a woman right will get called a simp. It's like, how is he being a simp just because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing? But yeah.
I think what it is people is misusing the phrase simp. I mean, like you said, if a man is treating a woman correctly, he's not a simp. Now, if a man is going way overboard for a lady, and the lady does not acknowledge it, and the lady does not appreciate it, and the lady doesn't value it, that's a simp. But just simply a guy being, treating a girl right, he's not a simp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, people just misuse the word. But so yeah, we definitely have to make that distinction. Okay. A man that sticks up for women, or even a man that tends to agree a lot with women, and you'll see them get called a simp too. Or even men that are okay with women being reliant on them, be it for financial reasons or whatever. These guys, they all kind of are thrown into the simp box, even though they're technically not simps.
No, I don't look. It's just a question of treating a person right. I mean, and even when you do disagree, if you can do it in a manner that's agreeable, I mean, that you're not being a simp. You're just being yourself. I mean, unfortunately, people used to simp so easily.
The word simp really comes from a pimp. When you're slacking on your pimping, that's a simp. It's someone who has women, and then the woman starts disrespecting him, they're not giving back his money. That's a simp. So that when they apply it to like normal people, that's why to me it just doesn't make sense. It's someone who's has multiple women, but the woman disrespect him. Like, he's not doing what he's supposed to do with those women. That's a simp.
Okay. Are y'all familiar with the MGTOW movement?
I think the criticism towards the simp is a good one. I think you're humiliating yourself, and if you pretend that this sort of like, if you think simping is in some way like elevating the person that you're simping for, you're not right. You're being a stupid person. You're humiliating yourself. People recognize that. So I think it's a good thing to criticize the simp. Although some people.
What do you consider a simp, Haniel? What do you consider a simp?
It's just a guy that humiliates himself for a woman, in this sense. I think that's like the most general term. Although some people,
I see, yeah, I agree.
Some people like expand that term to.
How about why not just call him a sucker, like a simp? I don't think that just call him a sucker.
If you treat women in women in a
I think a simp for me is a man who uses money to get a woman's attention.
I mean, then
that's a trick. That's really a trick. That's a trick, not a simp.
It ain't tricking if you got it.
No, that's not true. That's not true, and I could prove it with mathematics.
Oh yeah, with mathematics.
With mathematics, are you ready to hear the equation?
Let's hear it.
I'm interested. Go ahead.
All right. So if two guys, right? They sleep with the same girl, right? One guy takes her on vacations, takes her on dates, and does everything. He has spent at least $5,000 on her. While the other guy, all he spends is $10 and does the same activity with her as the guy who spent $5,000. It's value. It's that guy won because he extracted the value from her without paying anything. It's like a car, right? Like a car deal. If someone paid $40,000 for a car, but I got it for $25,000, the guy who paid $40,000 is going to be upset.
Okay,
so it's like it's basic like mathematics. It's like a deal,
You're basically saying the guy who paid the very least, who got to hit, like he won. He beat the other guy.
Yeah,
that's what you said. Okay, well, when people say it ain't tricking if you got it, it just means for a man who has that money, it's not a big deal to him. That's what that means.
That's true also.
Mm-hmm. It's not a big deal in money,
That's
but it's
atrocious.
That
it's a big deal
$5,000,
regarding
In a sense,
time
it does.
and
In a sense, it
emotional
does.
stability. I mean, you're
right?
wasting your
Maybe
time with
that,
somebody that is not giving you anything back.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe that five thousand
But I
dollars
think
is his $10. Because like I
that's
said,
true.
it ain't
If
tricking
he's a
if you got it.
millionaire, yeah, if
So
he's a
like
millionaire.
I said, I don't think somebody who tries to get the attention of women with money is a simp. That's actually quite smart because women like
No, because
money.
they get taken advantage of. As a guy, I've seen guys, trust me, I've seen it. Like, I've seen guys that just, hey, here, I have this. And the girl be like, okay, he's going to give me money. I'm not going to give him anything. Let's see how long I could prolong this cash cow. I've seen that before.
That's true.
I've seen that before.
That's true. I mean,
You know
all
what I'm
is
saying?
fair in love and
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's certain situations, you know, so I'm not going to generalize because you're right a little bit and I'm right a little bit, you know, so I'm not going to, and that's a gray area, I could say, you know, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really only turns into simping when you continue to hand over the money and the women ain't giving you no play in return, no attention, still kind of.
No, that's insanity. That's insanity.
That's what.
That's
insanity.
insanity.
Oh, yeah.
So if the women wait, Tina, if the women give you something and you give him money, that wouldn't be simping.
What's that?
If
Wait,
if the women give you something because you give her money, that wouldn't be simping.
no.
I mean, that's prostitution.
Yeah.
Well, assuming we're talking about sex, yeah, that would be.
You know, it's crazy about that, like the prostitution. I think
legal.
if you ask for the money up front, I think that's kind of prostitution. But like if you go in the
No,
back
it
of the
is.
girl's mind, if the girl in the back of the girl's mind is like, okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna see how this settles out and see like if he willingly gives it to me. You know what I mean? I think that aspect is a little different. I think when it's too upfront, I'm like, nah. You get what I'm saying?
Like a subtle prostitution, right?
No, I wouldn't
It's
say that.
comparable. It's comparable because I hear people say, "Well, you know what? You're paying one way or another." It's comparable, but
But when you're with a
obviously,
woman, you're gonna pay one way or another. I mean, I'm not
right?
the
But if you kind of go in and like, I'm gonna just pay for what I want, that's prostitution.
Yeah. Like
The
if
other
you
one is
straight up,
called dating, right? So
Yeah, goddess energy is right. It can be time, attention, energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be sex. I mean, companionship.
for men, they are not trying to get our attention. So
that's true. Yeah, I think I 100% agree with that statement right there.
I think
so. I hear goddess, but it definitely has to be, the thing she said at the end.
I mean, if you want a serious relationship, the person in question is not just going to search for sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No,
you're right, but that's that's always going to be a part of it. And when a man pursues a woman, whether he wants a relationship or not, he's gonna want it at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it shouldn't be the your relationship. It shouldn't be like
No, of course, because I think
merely
optics
that.
is first. For a guy, optics is first, and then you go talk to her, and then you see what she's thinking, how she speaks. That's number two. That's why it's one, and then two.
I feel like that's kind of true for women too. I mean, people in general think you go by what you see first, right?
Yeah, initially, yeah.
Once you get to talking, then from there you decide, okay, do you want to keep talking or what?
I have a question.
Yes.
What do you guys think about women approaching men?
Nothing wrong with it.
When you mean approaching men, in what concept?
Like, do you know how
like
men
in person or like maybe sliding in a DM? Like what exactly?
Either or, you know how men are generally the ones who initiate. Let me say maybe the word initiate contact. What do you guys think about women initiating?
I mean, it happens.
But when it happens, he's welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like me personally, I'm not one to really initiate stuff like that. Like if I'm in person and I see a guy, I probably wouldn't approach him. I wouldn't walk up to him, but I might give him the eyes. Okay, let him know I see you. you see me, come talk to me. Like I might do that. Or if it's somebody like say that I saw online or something, like maybe I might drop a little comment. A little something.
Would you ask a guy to dance? Let's say you're out dancing and you see a guy that you like. Would you
Nah,
ask him to dance?
Nah.
Why not?
No, that'd be
What's
weird.
up with the pride, Tina? Don't be so don't be so proud. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a thing to the girl.
I'm outgoing, but then I'm shy at the same time. So my shyness would eventually. I don't know. I've never been that bold. Like I said, I'll leave a little subtle hint somehow if there's somebody that I see that I really am interested in, and maybe they haven't noticed me yet or whatever. But that's as far as I go. From there, I'm just gonna wait and hopefully you notice me.
Personally, personally, it weirds me out because I think the woman in question is very desperate. Because in my experience, when women approach the man, it's because they're desperate, right? And that's like
No.
well, that has been my experience. That has been my experience.
Okay, so desperate how? How did they show that they were desperate?
I'm talking from a personal experience. You know,
Yeah, but I'm asking you.
I don't know how that sounds.
And you're you automatically think she was desperate?
Yes, and they act that way as well. So, but besides that point, I mean, for me, it makes me feel weird. But as society comes to the point in which women are making the same or more money than men, it's going to be more common that women approach men. You know.
Well, it comes with it. It comes with it, with the success, with the money, with the position in society. There is also that level of confidence that can tell a woman, "Hey,
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to chime in for this. Women can be confident, okay? And women cannot be confident in themselves that if they see someone, they could approach it. And again, it all has to do on the approach. I mean, just because a woman approaches someone doesn't mean that they're desperate. I mean, it might be, some cases, but for every case, I'm sorry, I disagree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand. I mean, what did she say to you, Haniel? If a woman were to approach you to ask you to dance, what made you think that she was desperate for somebody to?
That has been my personal experience. That simply has been my personal experience. I don't know why you guys get so defensive about it.
I'm not being defensive. It's just that I have been asked to dance by a woman, and I don't get that impression that she's desperate. I don't get the impression.
You know, like I only got danced by a woman. You know, like when I'm by the wall and I don't want to dance, she'll be like, "Come on," she'll drive me. "Come on, dance." Like that's the only time. But I like.
Yeah, that's somebody that wants to have.
It's a guy that I already know.
Like, you know, when I'm at this day chilling, she's like, come on, dance. You know.
Yeah. A person that you know, a friend of yours. I could understand that, but in my experience, when I don't know the person, when they approach me first, is because they're acting like a man, you know, basically, you know, he's desperate.
Okay, Hania, well, let's see a woman sees you and likes you. How is she? What is she allowed to even, you know, approach you and tell you, you know, I like you or something, let's have lunch or something? Is that something that she's allowed to do?
I'm very quisquilloso, let's put it that way, as a person, so she needs to be more subtle, you know. I don't like people being like straight up with me. I don't like that.
Okay.
Especially like women. I think that's pretty. I think that's like that's a.
I think Latin
thing.
women are like that.
I think that's pretty vulgar for my taste.
Really
so you don't like women that are like overly assertive.
No.
You know,
don't put it that way, Tina, because you're saying that this guy without confidence don't like the assertiveness of these confident women. It's not like that. Of course, assertiveness is a good thing in everyone, besides the gender. I'm just saying in the way of approaching to have a relationship with that person. I don't like people that are straight and inquisitive towards
Has that
me.
ever happened to you? Has a girl ever came up to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, in several occasions.
And she was ugly. She was ugly. She was ugly.
Not ugly. It just feels,
Because if she was beautiful, you wouldn't be like, nah. You know what? You
it
approached
just
me.
feels weird. It
Nah,
feels
no,
weird.
no,
It
no,
feels
Kendall.
weird. You don't expect that. I'm the one. It feels weird. It just feels off. Why? You know.
Okay.
For my taste,
overall,
that's my take.
What was that, Tina? What was that?
No, I was saying, I think Haniel, generally speaking, you're just more like traditional in a lot of ways, right? Would you say? As far as what you expect and
I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, I will say so. Although I mean, I'm not outside of reality. I don't think we're going back to contraceptives, condoms, and not having, maybe, sure. Hopefully, we're going to
honestly
solve the
Haniel,
issue
look,
of abortion, but
I
not
would like to do.
not the contraceptives and condoms. We're not going back to a system in which we don't have that.
I would like to do a social experiment with you, Haniel.
What's up, Flor?
I would like to have a fine ass woman come up to you and say, "Come over here, big Haniel. Come and handle me. Give me some of that Venezuelan Dominican love." What would you do?
You gonna turn out
No, that's not me. I don't believe in that.
He wrong.
It's not like that. It's not that.
This woman is desperate.
It is not that if a woman is like super attractive, like a bum, right? And I'm not meant to be like the nerdy guy. Oh no, please, no, of course not. I'm not that type of. I'm not that type of nerd. Let's put it that way. Of course not. It's not that. But it feels weird. It feels weird. It's just a weird thing. It's not a question of, oh, I'm scared of her confidence. Of course not, because I think it's just like, it feels silly. Oh, did this person pretending that she has so much confidence. But it's just a personal thing, and I mean, that's okay.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave this platform. I just want to say, it's an interesting conversation, and I just want to wish all of you a good night and be safe.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night, sir.
Yeah. So apart from Daniel, it seems like Uli, Ramon, Macho, y'all would be okay with a woman approaching you and all that.
Yeah. Well,
of course. Yeah. I mean, depending on how she looks.
Right. No, but that's always the like.
The thing is, the women.
I mean, it really doesn't happen. I mean, if you got money and status, I think it happens more often than
I've
most.
done it before, and I think it works. I think it works. One, because I just kind of feel like if I want something, I'm gonna go get it. And it works because I'm relatively attractive. At least I think I am.
But how did you approach it? Tell me, how did you approach it? Tell me a scenario.
Right. So they're actually kind of flattered, right? And of course, you know how men are. They probably think, "Damn, I'm gonna be able to hit like easy." They kind of get that impression too. I've noticed.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you an example. One time I was on a 2 train on my way home, and I sat next to I just sat next to somebody and I just said hi or whatever. And we just started talking. Like, it's not that, it doesn't have to be, just you see somebody outside. I wouldn't do it like that. I would kind of do it like, if we're already in a close like space, then I could kind of talk to you, but I wouldn't randomly approach somebody like walking down the street.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so yeah, I'm not against it. I think women should do it, but I think women kind of think that I'm chasing him, and I'm like, no, it's not really chasing. You're kind of just putting it out there and seeing how he responds. You got to give him an opportunity to chase you. So it's not really chasing.
Yeah, right. and that's really the scenario that most people encounter. I mean, when we're talking about relationship, it's not always at the club. It's, as she said, on the train or at work, or whatever you happens to be at the gym. I mean, if you find your way, if you like somebody, to put yourself in front of that person. And all I'm saying is that women has the same right to do it if they like somebody than guys do. I mean, it shouldn't be just guy. I mean, how are we going to survive as a species? It's only guys, yeah, given, so some of us are shy in approaching women. So it's okay. It's, for the thing to happen the other way. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Because it makes, like, some people, they're like very traditional. So it makes them, like, women, they'll think, oh, I'm not going to do that because that's like unladylike, or that's not gender roles or whatever. And I'm not against gender roles, just certain things I don't think have to be so rigid.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, and another thing that we haven't mentioned, you have to account for some guys that they don't get the signal very well. And this is one of the complaints that I that's one of the complaints about the guys. I mean, how do I know when a girl is
you gotta kind of throw it at them, or give the appearance that you're kind of throwing it at them. Yeah. Listen, it might sound a little crazy, but you kind of got to give that impression that you're just throwing it at them, so you could kind of reel them in, you know.
Yeah, there are guys that complain. Well, I don't. There are guys that complain. Look, I don't know when a girl it likes me, and they kind of like want that.
Wait, let me just say real quick. It's actually empowering as a woman to kind of just, instead of just waiting for somebody to approach you, you kind of, take control, take it into your own hands, and kind of initiate. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
That's what I find funny, though. Like this woman approaching me, and she thinks she is so assertive and empowering. And I'm just saying,
as long as she's not proposing for marriage, that's a no-no. Sorry. Go ahead.
For me, it's a funny thing that people think that's necessarily empowering. It can be, of course, but it's a funny. It's just, for me, silly.
No, hear me out. CA09, right? Normally, women wait. You probably know this, but I'm gonna explain it to you from the perspective of a woman. Normally, we wait for men to approach us. We just wait. And like somebody said, sometimes it's hard. It's hard for them to know if you're interested, so they won't approach you for whatever reason, right? So it actually is empowering to just, instead of waiting, instead of being passive about the situation, you be active about it. That's empowering. You don't think so?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And to connect with what you say, that how the men that say that, oh, how do I know? I think that's lack of intelligence. It's a clear thing. When someone likes you.
No, that's not what I asked you.
It's not lack of intelligence. There are times, and I think this happens already, that we tend to miss signals that are really obvious to others. And it's not lack of intelligence. It's because we just happen not to be paying attention, or maybe we were paying attention to somebody else, especially if it's in a social environment.
No, yeah, if you pay attention to somebody else, but I don't think that's necessarily like a problem, though. That, oh, I don't know if I like her, if I like, I don't know if she likes me or something like that. I mean, the question of I don't know if she likes me is just if you're ready asking that question, the problem is not hers, is you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think the safest for the guy is to assume. Go with the mindset that she likes you. Worst that can happen is that she doesn't, and it won't be the first time, it won't be the last time. So just assume that she likes you, and go ahead.
No, but you didn't answer my question. 09. I was saying, you don't think that's empowering to go from a point of being passive in your own love life to kind of, being a little more active? You don't think that's empowering?
I mean. So what? What's so empowering about that? It's just such a minuscule aspect of life that, I mean, putting too much emphasis on that for me is just like, sure.
I don't think I'm putting too much. I don't think I'm putting too much emphasis.
The people that said that, oh yeah, that overemphasize that, it's just.
I know, but I'm asking.
It can be. It can be. Sure, it can be. It can be. I'm not saying that it's not. I just think it's funny to put to imagine that as not necessarily empowering thing. You know. I mean, just like,
Because
oh yeah, it's like, yeah, doing sports. You know, sure, it's empowering, but it's like that way. Like, sure, go ahead. You know, good for you.
Well,
okay,
I
I
think
mean,
for a female, if you can kind of cast that out and actually catch something and the guy responds or anything, I can see how that could be like empowering, like you said, and even like a boost of confidence or a little boost of self-esteem. I mean, I can see how that could happen, you know, if it works out in your favor.
But I mean, it's easy for guys to have sex, right? So no, it's not that. Sorry, that's not the question. It's easy for women to have this sort of like sex and dating. You know, if they approach. You know, so
I think that's not the norm.
you're just throwing yourself at him, right? Basically.
Yeah, and you know what? The truth is, no,
no.
wait, let me tell you, the reality is men are always gonna perceive it. Oh, she probably wants to, oh, I'm gonna be able to hit. Like, that's how they are. Like, am I wrong? Y'all are men, right? Am I wrong? Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong at any point. But they do perceive it that way. But my thing is, I don't think it's a big deal that he perceives it that way, as that's what I want, because that can kind of work in my favor if he thinks that anyway.
You know what?
So it's
Yo,
not a big deal.
Haniel, some women are fighting over you in the comments.
Wait, what? Let me see.
They want some of the big stud, Haniel.
Aniel doesn't like assertive women. Oh my god, this is so vulgar. It's not like that. It's not like that. I don't. It's not. It's not a question of assertiveness. It's not a question
Okay.
of
Oh,
assertiveness.
let's go there then. What is
If
it? What
you
do you
think,
like?
wait, if you think you can reduce assertiveness into just or confidence is into just being approaching a man, then you're not really assertive. You're not really confident.
Then what he? Then what?
You just
call him.
whatever. You just read an article somewhere that says, "Oh, you should be empowered by approaching a guy," and you do.
I didn't
you
read
do
an
it
article. I want to make it
No,
very
I'm
clear.
not
I
talking
didn't.
about you personally, April girl. I'm not talking. I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying that some people are like that. You know, it's not. It's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal. It's not that you're empowered by doing this. It's just whatever. It's just like the most.
I think you're getting hung up on the term like empowering or empowerment, right? But like I said, you have to imagine, for women, what we do is a lot of times we just sit and wait. We sit, wait, and hope. And some of us pray really, really hard. I'm saying, instead of me doing that, sorry, hold on.
Oh, her boyfriend came in.
She was at the dice game.
It can be a little difficult.
Sorry, they were rolling
But
dice.
right. So don't get hung up on the word empowering. It's going from being passive in your own life to sort of taking control. I think that's empowering. If that's not the word you want to use, just forget the word. But that's what you're doing when you, as a woman, are okay with the approach, in my opinion.
Well, I do feel like it definitely takes a certain level of confidence to do it. I guess it's just how hard you go with it. I think that is what like creates the line between just kind of initiating it and just throwing out like, hey, I'm interested, versus like full throttle, like I'm actually chasing you now. I think when women get to the point where it's like they're chasing the man, that's where it gets kind of like, okay, maybe we should calm down a little bit.
No, I just think if you find somebody that you think is worth it, I mean, it's up to you to make it happen. Call it empowerment, whatever. I say take control of your own happiness. I mean, what are you? I mean, you don't have to ask permission or society or whatever people think about. I mean, to be happy, and because that's what we're talking about. You just meet somebody, and hey, this could be a good prospect. Just go for it.
That's the key right there, Yuli. You said happiness.
Yeah, that's the key, happiness. That's what we're looking for. And if you're going to kids think, oh, it's going to look bad, yeah, F them.
I don't know. I think part of it maybe also because, I feel like, okay, men at the end of the day, I mean, y'all will mess with a variety of women. Doesn't necessarily mean you're interested. So it's like, I feel like y'all are very what's the word? Y'all make the distinction, and actually Mora said this recently. I don't know, my sister. Well, y'all will make the distinction between the girl that y'all will mess with, the girl that y'all might kick it with for some time, versus the women that y'all would like wife up and like make your girl. Like y'all kind of categorize women. So it's like when you do put yourself out there, it's like you're kind of taking that risk. Like we don't know what category y'all are going to put us in, and then. Because we grow up hearing that men will chase what they want. And at the same time, men hold the key to relationships and they hold the key to marriage. So if a man isn't necessarily going after us and chasing us, it may already make us feel like, okay, I'm not going to be the woman that he's really going to want to be with. I might just be like a pasatiempo, like a girl that he's just going to mess with for the time being. And yes, I may have approached him, but I mean, how many men really turn down girls that approach them?
Well, I disagree with you when you said that men have the control of the relationship. I mean, yeah, you can approach a guy. I mean, that's my opinion here, but it's still up to you. And this goes back to what we were talking earlier about the poor guy. It's up to you to go with your eyes wide open and see what's really in there. Is he the guy for me? I mean, I like him or whatever, but if he's really, well, you need to find out. That's why communication, that's what the relationship that's supposed to happen, before you get serious comes into play. You need
What's interesting, I had a conversation with somebody about this actually like earlier today about, how people say women control sex and men control relationships. Like we've all heard that, and I can understand why people would think that. But in my opinion, I actually think women control all of it. Because we control sex. And, the reality is if you kind of hold out and kind of don't have sex with a guy, he will kind of start to try to get a relationship with you. I know sometimes they'll kind of just say it just to get it sometimes, but in my experience, it works. So I think women kind of control all of it. Because we have the chocha.
Yeah, women can
that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing. Assuming that that's true, right? Assuming that women have the whole control of these like personal relationship, right? Because they have like the sexual capital, right? The sexual capital, right? But so. And let's return to women making more money than men, right? Isn't that problematic? I'm just throwing that question out.
Explain.
If in the past, women, let's assume this. If in the past women have the sexual capital, right, and the sexual power of controlling the men because of her. But now women have sexual power and economical power over men, right? Not now. In the cases where men make less money than women, isn't that like a problem?
I don't see how it's a problem because I think men are always, men they're always going to be wired to chase women to have sexual access to them, whether they make more money or less. Like they will still be willing to spend money on a woman, in order to win her over and to get sexual access to her. So I don't think it's not going to change that, right?
But in the past, men had more economical power than women, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Definitely. I mean, women couldn't, own a bank account till like the
you're saying that
70s.
You're saying at that time women have like the power in the private sphere of the house, the all of that, because also they have like a sexual power over men.
No, that's not how I characterized what I said. What I said was, I don't know if you're familiar with the saying, men control relationships and women control sex. But what I'm saying is women actually control both because we have what men want. And we can leverage that to our advantage. But I think the reason why that thing exists is because a lot of women don't leverage it to their advantage. That's why people are really out here thinking that men control relationships. I don't think that's true. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you think? So if men have one sex from women, right? What do you think women want from men? Assuming that this is true, right?
I think what women want from men is money,
Hmm.
attention. Women like attention. I like attention. I can admit that,
Yeah.
especially from men. I like attention, especially if you're cute. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm joking. But money, attention. Yes, of course, we do want that too, like the intimacy, right? But it's not as it's not on the same level as men. Hence why we can leverage our sexuality to get what we want from them. Are you following me?
Yeah, but you're sounding like a Machiavellian though.
No, I don't. What do you mean by that?
So
Like you're saying, like manipulative in the sense of, oh, that's where
Oh, manipulative. This is interesting. Manipulative.
Not, I mean, I'm not saying that I mean, that might be the reality. Maybe you're just describing what is the
I'm just
reality.
listen. I'm describing right. I'm describing what is, and I don't think it sounds manipulative, but like you said, it's just reality. And it's interesting you use the word manipulative because I think women have, kind of been manipulated in a way to sort of not know their power. So I think it's interesting how you say me saying we control it because men want we control relationships because men want sexual access to our body as manipulative when I'm stating facts.
No, I think women know their power though. I don't think women the fact in the
I think
I think women knew more their power in the past because they had more they had a well-defined boundary between the private and the public sphere, right? Uh and they knew more stuff more directly, right? So I don't think people hide that from women. I think everyone knows that. That's why how the
listen, I
figure of
think
the figure of the women that benefits from her sexuality is a clear one and is recognizable.
no, but
How
I don't think it's that clear. I don't think it's so clear. I think when you look through these magazines, they always have these things 16 ways to keep your man interested, 18 new tricks to keep your man interested. It's you kind of absorb from the culture that like, you got to keep a man, you got to keep a man. It makes women kind of desperate and they kind of don't know they don't know their power. Also, a lot of women think having a man in their life, like it validates them. So it kind of certain beliefs that society kind of perpetuates, it controls women's behaviors. They act in a way that is not conducive to their best interests. So that's what I'm saying. Women kind of know men want sex, but it's like they don't fully understand their power and the leverage they actually have because the way society has conditioned them to be, to sort of kind of you got to move, shift and bend, to get a man. When in all actuality, I would even go as far to say you don't really have to do anything, especially
but
if you're
I think manipulation has been like historically the way that women enforce the power that they had, like even if it was like a small amount of power.
thank you,
Manipulation.
goddess. Sorry, go
What?
ahead.
Sorry. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry.
I think even historically speaking, the way that women have like effectuated their power is by manipulation, uh, sort of like these small uh, social circles, chismes and all of that. Mainly because they cannot, mainly because the way that women effectuate power, especially in the past, is not the same as how men effectuate power, right? So I find it interesting that you think that women do not understand how to be effective in
I'm
their.
not. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, because I think what you said is had correct stuff in it. I think you're kind of smart. Um, I'm gonna put it like this, right? There's certain beliefs that, you know, what you think affects your behavior, how you behave. There are certain beliefs that have been put into women's minds that motivate them to act in a way that they don't know their power. I'm not sure if I'm articulating it right. I don't know how else to say it. If you ain't getting it, you're just not gonna get it. Like, but I hear you though.
No, no, I understand what you're trying to say. But I hope they don't. I hope things keep that. I hope things are that way because I don't want to. I don't want to be face the manipulation of a bunch of like spiders.
But no, can I make something really clear? You know, usually when men manipulate, it's really to get sexual access to a woman's body, right? But when women manipulate, okay, I'm speaking generally, right? When women manipulate, it's usually things to like get a boyfriend, to get a husband. It's not as sinister. So I think you don't actually need to fear like women's manipulation. I think the worst they're gonna try to do is get you into like a relationship, right? Whose manipulation do we really need to fear? I think it's men's, because they will try to use us and dip.
I think both of them, right?
Right. They're both manipulative, but I'm saying the men's is sinister. It's actually worse. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I don't think you have much to fear. That's my whole point. Like, no, you don't have much to fear.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't be manipulative at all.
I mean, that sounds nice. But the reality is, you know, studies show that men will lie. You know, I think we all know this, to get sex. Like, they will. So it's like, we shouldn't be manipulative, but it's a dirty game. Like, men and women do not play by the same rules. So it's like women sort of have to become manipulative to temper themselves according to what is going on out there. So I think women should employ manipulative tactics to get what they want, because it's smart.
I mean, if they don't have, I can see where you're coming from. If they don't have the tools to get where they want without, and that goal is not a bad goal, is a positive one, and they just simply, and society simply do not offers them the tools to get into that like good goal. Maybe doing this like triquiñuelas, and manipulation is a good thing, but overall, I don't think it should be like the goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I hear you.
Yeah, James Rogers said something there in the comments. It's not a man versus woman's game.
But it is.
No, it isn't. I mean, we shouldn't see it like that. It's like I was saying earlier. We all have a right to look for our happiness, and you do whatever you need to do to get it. I mean, and I'm talking about real happiness. Okay, you don't want to be in a relationship where you don't want to be in a relationship where you have the power and you control the other person.
Okay, let me make something.
The other person is your puppet, or as Daniel put it earlier. You have the guy grabbed by the by the balls. I don't think that will make anybody happy.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Oh no, my icon wasn't moving. It wasn't lighting up. But no, what I'm really talking about, I guess you could say what I'm talking about is like the beginning stages, because you have to imagine, as a woman, like a lot of men, like, they're trying to get you, you know, and their intentions are not good. So, you know, employing manipulative tactics is smart. Are you following what I'm saying?
Mm,
I mean, y'all know how
not really.
men are. Like, y'all know how men are. So it makes sense for women to kind of, you know,
Well, yeah, I
so
mean, there are guys that just are there for the, for the sex, and that's it. The pickle flora.
that's what I'm
We
saying. It's more of a
you
means
have to
of
protect yourself from that. I get that.
right. It's more of a means of protection. It's more of a means of protection.
Hmm.
When men manipulate, it's usually, you know, that's why I say it's sort of is a men versus women thing, because maybe I've been lurking on YouTube too much, but listen, they always trying to employ some type of slimy, grimy strategy to hit it and quit it and pump it and dump it, and I can't think of any of the other slogans.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
understand. But let me tell you this. Wait, real quick.
Mhm.
You know what's funny? As I'm watching all these things, I'm just thinking, you know, men never needed you guys to coach them to be slimy and grimy about women. Niggas. So I don't know if you could say that here, but you don't mind? Do you mind? Do you mind?
I mean, I mean, people have said it before.
Y'all been slimy and grimy. Y'all didn't need a coach this. I'm not saying no name. Y'all didn't really need that. It's women who actually need the help to sort of point these things out and detect it and figure it out so they can avoid it. So it's a means of protection. That's what I'm saying. No, it sure did. I be trying to talk all like no, it sure did. I try, but y'all don't really. I'm just saying it's women who really need the help to like, you know, detect stuff. That's simply what my point was. But I think me saying that, oh, we control everything because we have this and we have that. I mean, he's gone, but I think that kind of made him a little uncomfortable. But it is what it is. You have to tell women that so they can know, like, they can know what's up. Like,
Yeah, I think I'm all for equality. We all have to, when it comes to relationship, we all have to protect ourselves. Like I keep saying, we're looking for happiness, but we have to have our eyes wide open, and have the BS radar, the bullshit radar, and high alert, because people will lie to you.
yeah, that's
So
right.
relationships are not easy. That's basically that's the end of it, and that's why I keep saying. I mean, when you were talking about you approaching the guy, go ahead. I mean, if you like the guy, go ahead. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? That he's not. The worst that can happen is that he's not the guy. He's not who you thought he was. Okay, so at least and it's
not that
better.
serious. It's really
Yeah.
not that serious. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not saying that I have all this experience when it comes to dating and all of that, but I have been approached to dance. I have been approached, and it's really not. It's really not a big deal. I mean, there are somebody that left that he thinks that is such a oh she's desperate. That's so desperation. Oh,
But
it's
y'all
weird.
was going in.
Huh?
Y'all was kind of going in every time he said something. Y'all was kind of going in. I was
Well,
like,
I
damn.
mean, well, is that how you would want men to be like?
I mean,
That you're gonna
I
be a
really,
think that you're weird?
he's that's his opinion though. I just kind of felt like, damn. Every time he said an opinion, I was like, no, like y'all was going in. But that's his opinion. I think it's what he said. It's not so far fetched because we do know women have the mentality. I'm not gonna approach a man because that's unladylike, and men kind of have the mentality that I should initiate because I'm the man. So it wasn't when he said it. It wasn't far fetched. Like,
Yeah.
That's kind of the response that I actually expect when I kind of bring up, do you think women should approach men? So I actually find it interesting that you guys think, I'm okay with it. Like I would say that's actually not the norm. That's kind of why I even had.
In a situation like that, the best that a woman can do is just make it so that he think it's his idea, that he approached you when you were the one who set the guy up.
Yeah, like
So
That's
if you have,
considered
so
the
you have to be
norm.
Machiavellian to use the word that he said. Go ahead. I mean, it's all for your happiness. All is
yeah,
fair in love and war. That's the phrase I was looking for.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess we do kind of overthink all this stuff sometimes. And
Hmm?
Yeah,
we look at everything from every possible angle and overcomplicate it even more.
Something that I would like to ask Apple Girl for a moment. Going back just a little bit, when you were mentioning something about things that you needed to learn or information that you had to come across to, so you could be able to have a better dynamic when it came to knowing men, or to kind of like grasp something within you. You kind of lost me for a moment when you were
no,
trying
I was saying that I be lurking on YouTube, and
to.
it's some grimy, slimy.
Okay, that's called a
They
womanizer. You're
right.
talking
They
about
basically
womanizer.
teach men tactics to get quick, fast, easy. You know, like that's what they do. So I was just thinking, like, it's very different when you
Mhm.
hear men give relationship advice to men. It's very different from what women are telling women. Women are telling women to behave, stay in your place, and wait. Men are being told to take what they want, and it's
Okay,
not just they're being told to take what they want. They're taught tactics to manipulate and steal. So how are women supposed to fortify themselves when they go out there into the dating world? They
Wait,
have
wait,
to
wait, wait, wait,
learn.
wait, wait,
okay,
wait, wait. Manipulate and
but it's
steal.
really not.
I don't think that's true.
What?
It's really not.
Men need tactics in order to get women. We need different tactics.
Right. But what I'm telling you is
You're
I
saying,
don't know. I
oh,
felt
they
like it was,
teach them tactics to manipulate and steal. That's not true. It's like hunting.
no,
Like, you know,
they do teach them tactics to manipulate and
That's a pickup
like
artist.
that.
That's called a pickup artist. That's called a pickup artist. That's not a relationship coach or something like that. That's a pickup artist. Those are
Mhm.
the ones that teach those tactics where
Right.
you
But what I'm
say
saying is
get
when
the
women come
woman
across
in a different
men,
space.
they don't know which is which. So the tactics they teach them is to protect themselves and to discern. That's what I was saying. Do you understand
Well, I
now?
understand that the mistake that a lot of women keep making time and time and time again is that they want to understand how a man thinks. They want to understand how a man moves when it comes to relationships. And the mistake that women constantly make is that they ask other women as to how a man thinks. And they always make that mistake. They're always asking their girlfriends, they're always asking their mothers, they're always listening to Oprah Winfrey as to how
Hey, I
do
like Oprah.
I like to ask men these questions. Like the guy friends that I do have, I love having these conversations with them because, again,
exactly.
we can speculate or talk based off of our experiences that we've had with men. But what better than to get it straight from a man? So
That's
I
what
like.
I'm
I
trying to
mean,
say. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to tell Apple Girl because she seems to be wanting to get relationship advice on how to deal with men from women, and that's usually a mistake. I mean, you're always gonna get the wrong advice. You're always gonna be told all the wrong things, and you are going to be wondering why things aren't working, why the relationship is not working, why this guy can't turn out to be this way or that way. It's because you're not asking men. You should ask men. You might have a better chance.
um,
I mean, I think women, we can give each other good advice as far as how to better present ourselves and things like that, and how to keep ourselves like feminine. And I mean, there's definitely a lot of ways that we can help each other out. But as far as really wanting to know what do men really want, what do men really think, I think it is best to go straight to a man.
Exactly.
I, I,
Exactly.
under, I understand the concept.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very simple because women are very simple beings. Women are very simple beings. It's women that are always complicating everything. It's women that are always making things more complicated than they need to be. I mean, and they seek advice on men from other women, and then they wonder why things aren't working. We're very simple. We're very simple. A woman only has to do about 3 things right, and she can keep a man easily. She only has to do about 3 things.
What are those?
Which are?
Well, I can tell you, but you might be offended. One has to do with food. The other has to do with sex. The third thing, the third thing will be.
I know where you going. Go ahead. I think I know what you're gonna say.
The third thing will be don't nag a man into an early grave. I mean,
well, that's gonna happen.
I thought you were going straight up to say shut up.
That's gonna happen.
No. Well, communicate. Yes. Chatterbox and nag a man and nag. No. Communicate, yes, because women do appreciate actual, real communication. And
good luck with that. Good luck with that, Ramon. Good luck with that.
So, are you telling me if a woman feeds him,
it will go
does
along
him,
it will
and
go
be
along
quiet,
it will go a long way.
She will have
not be quiet. Not be quiet. I think subtle. I think what he means is be subtle.
Let me ask my question, Yuli.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Yeah. No, I'm saying, are you saying if she does those 3 things, she will have like relationship success? This is your advice?
Well, I mean, it will go a long way. It will go a long way, definitely. But it's not only that.
That's your relationship advice. Amazing.
Well, but the other thing that I said is that if you want advice about men, talk to men. Talk to men in your life. Talk to the men that you're friends with. Talk to your male relatives. Also, if you want to learn more about men. Yeah,
I know, but you guys are the men on the panel, so I guess I'm sorry. I guess I'm asking.
Apple Girl. I will just modify his advice.
Apparently, Apple Girl wants me to sound like Steve Harvey or something like that, who is always telling them what they want to hear.
I don't want you. You don't have to sound like Steve Harvey. I'm just saying that was your advice, and I said like that was amazing. So now I'm asking other people.
Oh, your advice was amazing. You heard that?
Yeah. I get the sarcasm.
Clap it up for Ramon. Clap it up for Ramon.
What do you other guys think?
No, I will update the part about the not nagging. I will change it to be subtle, because there are ways that you can get your way. I mean, you just have to know your guy, and yeah, nagging doesn't work. But if you want something to happen, maybe some sort of approach to do it. You know, I don't have a specific advice, because it all depends on what you want. You know, around Don, you know, and what he meant exactly about the nagging. I understand why the nagging can be bothersome, but there are ways around it. I mean.
Yeah. You have to go away around it. You have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna happen, so you just deal with it. You know, just like just expect it, so you won't be so
what do you
upset.
think, Macho?
What's up?
That's who's asking you a question.
I can't hear you. What?
What do you think? What do you think
About what?
about relationship advice for women? What do you think they should do?
What do I think overall in general? You know, just when the man pursues you, just make sure he has his thing together. Make sure he comes from a good family too, kind of. You know, if you come, you know, that part kind of helps. Good family structure. Okay. And then take it from there, I guess. Like, if you want to get serious, you know, you want to build, and, you know. But as far as dating, just, you know, just experience people. That's the only thing I could really tell you, because life is an experience.
So what would y'all say are the signs that women should look out for to know if a guy is actually serious about you, or just kind of has you around for the time being?
If he likes you a lot.
Right, but what actual signs?
What signs? How do we know? Okay, this guy's like actually he really likes me, and he's actually serious about me.
serious about you when he just wants to claim you and you can't see no one else.
Yeah, but men will try to like, you know how they will try to hold on to you but still want to be free.
That's
Well,
not serious about
story.
you.
That's another story. That's a whole nother thing.
You want to have that kick you needed to.
Yeah, that sounds like somebody who is controlling. I mean, that's not. You have to be wary of
No,
those.
well, come on. If you want to be with a woman, you want to make it your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, she has to be exclusive
Of
just to
course.
you. So
Of
you say,
course.
okay, we're just exclusive to each other. That's when you know it's serious.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
you know that's what it is. If he wants you,
You sit
as
down,
one
you're
of your
like,
girls,
hey, I'm
then
serious with you. I don't
that's
see no one else. What's over, and then that's it. You're serious.
You know what I think? I think
You make a
sometimes.
deal.
I mean, thank you for y'all's advice. Y'all's advice is will be taken into consideration. But I just want to say sometimes it's I know y'all answered the questions as best as y'all could, but sometimes there's no
there's no real
or at
answer.
least it seems there's no real way
No,
real way to actually
it
know.
isn't. And I agree with that too. In a
So
sense.
I think while I heard what does it say, Raymond, right? I heard what Raymond said, like, you know,
No, it's
you gotta
Ramon.
ask.
It's
Okay, I heard what Ramon
Either
said.
way.
It's Ramon.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Ramon.
I can't do it. I can't do it. But I heard what he said. But in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, when people say you need to ask a man, and because men know men, and yada yada yada. I understand the concept. I understand, but the reality is, even if I asked a million men, there's not really no way to know. So you're kind of lost too. Like you trying to tell somebody something, but you're kind of lost too, bro.
yeah. If you want something good in life, you have to take risks, and yeah, you cannot expect to have all the answers. I mean, we don't come up with a sign on our head that say, yeah, this is the guy. No, I mean, it's a guessing game, and the your challenge is to try to guess right, and you have to. It sounds cursy, but you have to follow your heart. I mean, there's something inside you, and I believe this because I think that this little voice that we hear inside is basically our experiences telling us, based on all the knowledge that we have accumulated since we were little until this moment, they say, okay, this is what's good for me. We may not realize it, but that's what I think is happening. When you see somebody, you say, okay, yeah, I feel a vibe, whatever you want to call it. It's the force of all your experiences telling you, okay, I think this is the guy. And sometimes that's all you have to start, and you go for it, and maybe after a few days you say, nah. If he says something like you said earlier, oh, I want you to be my girlfriend, but I want some liberty, that's immediately you will get a sign that something is not right about this. And it's not be very specific, but you will feel it, and you say, no, time to leave. This is not the guy. And that's it. I mean, life is not simple, and you won't be like I said, we don't come with a sign that say this is Mr. Right. There's some guessing on it. There's some guessing on it regarding if this is the person or not, and you just have to determine, okay, is it worth the risk? Is this the person that I think it is, and and go for it. I mean, like I said earlier, and I keep repeating, you're looking for your happiness, and don't make any compromise regarding that.
Yeah, and women generally. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, go on,
I was
go
just
on.
saying, yeah. No, I wasn't. I was just saying, yeah, I understand to Yuli.
Okay, and generally, one thing that women do have is the whole thing about intuition. I've been hearing that my entire life. And women, when women meet men, you usually do tend to have an idea of who you're dealing with. You don't have to talk to a guy for that long before you can have somewhat of an idea of who you're dealing with. Now, there is the whole thing about women meet a man and kind of like sometimes I find it difficult to believe when they say that they didn't know anything about how the guy was one of those bad boys or somebody that had certain nefarious attitudes that were hiding in, and they couldn't tell anything about it. I find that sometimes hard to believe because women by nature tend to be better at being able to read other people. Definitely each other. Women are very good at reading each other out, and sometimes that's one thing that kind of evades me as to kind of like, is it really because they don't know, or do they really know that they're getting with a kind of like a bad boy or a guy who is up to no good, but they're attracted to it. They're attracted to that dangerous element that he might have.
I think that's part of it. And I think you're right. We do to an extent have an idea. After a certain amount of time, you do kind of, I won't say you straight up know, but you do have an idea. But I think even if there's certain red flags that we see, a lot of times we'll just choose to overlook it because we either feel that we connect with this person or we find them attractive or whatever, and we hope that they will change some of their ways for us.
That's the key word right there.
This is the lies.
That's the key word right there.
Ourselves, and then we end up in these crazy ass situations with these men that were no good, that we should have avoided from the jump.
Something that I wanted to ask Applegirl. I think that you mentioned something about women learning to leverage their sexuality. Did you mention something about that? I'm trying to recall.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you? What time period are you talking about? Do you really think that leveraging a woman leveraging her sexuality is something that will work today?
Absolutely.
To be perfectly honest, because men have more options than ever before.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna tell you why.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you why I think it doesn't matter. The reality is, men like variety. Even if he's with, going between 3 other women, the fact that he can't get yours, that's gonna fuck with him. So that's your leverage.
Y'all agree, guys?
I don't think.
No, I don't agree with her.
Yeah, that will always on guys.
No, there are guys that can become obsessed with one particular woman. I get it. If you can read that out on a guy, then you know that there is something that you can use against him. Specifically, his fixation on you. If that were to happen and you can read that off of him, then I guess what you're talking about could work. But I'm talking about, I'm saying these days, in the times that we live right now, do men get hung up or sprung, as they used to say back in the day? Maybe Macho can confirm that for me.
See, they do.
Okay. All right. Have my doubts, but okay. I'm not gonna argue that.
Well, I mean, that's what I was always told growing up, that if you hold out and you don't give it to him, that basically is where you hold your power. And they go,
because it used to be called like using sex as a weapon.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that's what that's referring to, leveraging it.
Yes, it's weaponizing it, Definitely. It's smart and it's effective. So yes, I definitely think women should do that. Hi, Fighter.
What up? What up?
Oh shit!
What's good with everybody?
Going on?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah. My bad. I was kind of listening to it, but I don't know exactly what you guys are talking about. So
we're talking about women leveraging their sensuality and or sexuality to get what they want from men.
Okay. Yeah.
You're saying that our power lies in not having sex with men. Men disagree because men can get.
I mean, yes and no, because sometimes for men, For men, it's like once you hit it, it's like okay, whatever. If she never want to talk to me ever again, I'm okay with that. I hit it already.
Exactly.
Sometimes, but sometimes the guy, even if he hit it already, he really likes you and he still wants to be with you. So it varies, but yeah, I mean that there is a sense of power, I guess, with if he hit it or not. Yeah, I would say. Even a confident man, I feel he's always gonna want that urge of like, damn, I want to hit it. I just want to hit it and get it over with. So yeah, I do think there's a sense, power.
Yeah. So you see, Raymond, it works. It really does.
Well, but some guys are gonna be like, oh, she's not worth it. Like if he has a lot of options, she's like, whatever. Like he's not gonna.
I would argue that even if he has options, the fact that he's able to get sexual access to them, let's say he's going between 3 women and he's able to get sexual access to them and he can't get it from you, that's gonna fuck with him.
Okay,
and not only that, really quick,
a little bit.
Not only that, it puts you above those other women in his mind in the pecking order. It does.
Don't exaggerate things here, because maybe the girl he wants to smash, maybe she doesn't even look as good as the girl that he smashed already. Maybe
it doesn't matter. We all know of men who have very attractive wives who will cheat with women who are not even as attractive. Why do they do that? Because it's the allure of something new. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to look better.
So let me.
You're leveraging the allure of something new.
Okay, let me tell you this, right? His wife is quote unquote better than the girl that he ain't hit yet. He's gonna be chasing that, and once he get to hit it, he's out. That's it. You serve no purpose to him anymore.
Right, but leveraging your sensuality and sexuality, it has nothing to do with actually having sex. It's just using the fact that you are something new over him, because he's always going to be chasing you. So the point is to not actually give it up.
I'll give you some props, but don't take too much credit for it, because there's a gazillion women out there. So don't think you're too, because
that sounds like fear mongering to me, because I would say
okay, let me ask this. Would you say that a man's perspective on that also has to do with how much options that he has?
Hell
so
yeah.
Yes. Whether you're giving us.
Let me give you an example, Christina.
Ask what you.
Let me just give you Apple Girl. Sorry, I'm gonna go and then sorry. An example. Let's say if I'm a dude that I don't get women, right? And Apple Girl is showing me attention, not enough, but she's showing me a little bit where I think she might be interested or I have a chance. She will be able to string me along for the longest, right? Because I'm valuing her too much, and me not having options has a great deal to do with that. So a man that has a lot of options with a lot of attractive women, or the type of women that he likes or prefers, he's not going to put all his focus on Apple Girl, regardless if he wants to hit it or not. Because some niggas they want to hit it just because you got a nice body, and after that, toodles. So you can't put too much emphasis in, this is my strength here, my vagina, because the dude will cut you off and he'll be fine with that. He'll be fine with no longer seeing you or talking to you. Sometimes everything that glitters ain't gold. Sometimes the pussy is not even worth it.
Right, but that's my point. Whether it's worth it or not, that's how y'all are. So
no.
Sometimes then what's the saying again? Sometimes the squeeze ain't worth the juice.
Right, but my thing is, y'all will know that, and y'all will still engage in behaviors to try to squeeze it, just to find out. That's my point. So my point is, women can use that to their advantage, sort of leverage that. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just don't think it makes sense.
No. I don't understand anything you're saying.
No, I think you're giving women too much credit. That and I'm not. It's not fear mongering. I just think you're giving women really too much credit.
It's not women that I'm giving too much credit. The thing is, you know, as a woman, you kind of start to realize the things that men are.
But why are you so upset at men for? Why do you hate men so much?
Macho?
Do you hate men? Yes.
No, I don't hate men. But what I was going to say is that, you know, women realize the extent that men are willing to go to get it.
Okay.
That's what I'm emphasizing, not emphasizing credit to women. We're only realizing
what you're only realizing that like now?
No, I didn't say I'm only realizing it now, but that's what I'm pointing out. Not so much women's credit.
Okay.
Okay, so I think
that's the point.
Let's ask this. Okay, so
that was my point, Macho. Thank you.
Do y'all see a woman as being more worthy of taking seriously or more virtuous and things like that when they hold out and don't give it to you as fast?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it means anything.
Yeah. What about women, Marshall? Do you guys see a woman differently depending on how long she takes to give it up to you or not?
When it comes to
She's not like a hoe or nothing, but just a regular girl. Are you gonna look at her differently depending on how fast she gives it to you?
But that's the thing. You never know. You never know what they're doing. You never know what they're doing. You never know what a woman is doing behind the scenes. So just because this is how I think. Just because she took a long time to give it to me, it doesn't mean that that's how she is. Maybe she just took a long time to give it to me. Maybe she gives it to other guys like this.
No. So, if a woman hasn't given it to you in the first like 3-4 days, she's not likely to give it to you because she's already giving it to someone else. I mean, she's already laying up with someone else. She might be playing again with you.
Short amount of time.
I think.
I'm even gonna say 3-4 months.
Man, let me tell you this, man. If you chilled with a woman more than 3 times and she ain't give you no, man, you just give up.
Yeah, she's usually playing. She's usually playing again, and she already has somebody else. She usually has somebody else, and who is tuning her up.
Treat it like baseball. Like 3 strikes, you're out, man.
That's why I was saying, okay, this woman could be very, very attractive, and she might be into waiting, making a man wait, and all of that. Okay, she can make you wait, quote unquote, while as a man you are cultivating other options because it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Men should have other options.
Blood Moon thinks that if you give it up on the first, like either the first to third date, that means you're a whore. That's what Blood Moon thinks. I don't agree with that. I don't think that makes.
No, I don't hold that against it. I don't do that because I do care about the person that she is, and it's really where we're connecting, and it's only been like just a few days, and something were to happen, and she's cool, and she remains cool after what happens. Then I'm not gonna hold it against her because there are guys that are assholes and they'll be judgmental and they will be ruining a girl's reputation out there, talking about that she gave it up too easy. She's a hoe. She's shit.
Yeah, and we're completely ignoring all the things that form part of a relationship. That is important, but it's not only that. It's just one point to consider, but it's not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
A woman giving it up the first date doesn't mean anything, because what if she hasn't had sexual relations in a long time, right? And she's been single for a long time, and she met you and y'all connected, and it's like it's kind of like a high attraction, right? Sexually and mentally. And then what if after that, right? After it you might think it's a one-night stand, but it turns into a whole relationship. Would you still consider her a whore? No, right?
No, like I
But
said,
what,
it's just one point. That's just one thing among everything that happens in a relationship that makes it good or bad. I mean, you can have good sex with somebody that is not worth it, you know.
right, right.
And
I
by
just
good sex, I mean something that you really enjoy. You say, "Wow, this was amazing," but this person,
right,
you know, I don't think I can marry this
right,
person or something like that.
right. Yeah, right. So
So it
so we
sounds like
so
if
so
it comes
it's
to
valid to say that. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, kind of based on what y'all are saying, it sounds like it comes down to a case by case basis, really.
Yeah.
And it comes down to how you connect with the woman and whatever type of relationship that you establish, etc. So you're not going to judge every woman the same either. So I don't know. I mean, it just sounds like I don't know. And I don't know if this is like a newer way of thinking or have men always thought this way? Because again, as women, we are taught that a lot of our virtue and whether a man is going to take us seriously or not has a lot to do with that. Whether you give it to him or how fast you give it to him. But it sounds like y'all are saying that really doesn't matter.
No, no, it's not
I
that it
mean,
doesn't matter. It's just that it's just one thing among everything
like the new
that happened in the
generation of
relation.
men.
No, it's just that maybe it has to do with the times that we live in, and we can't have that same mentality that maybe guys had back in the times with that Haniel wants to go back to. Uh, uh, and we can't really pass judgment of that. It depends because if she's somebody who has a good head on her shoulders and she's not playing games with a whole bunch of guys all the time, that then okay, if she gives it up in a couple of days, then that's fine. That's fine. I don't want the thing is that I don't want her bringing trouble into my life because she's playing games with a whole bunch of guys at the same time, and she's getting her back blown out by others. And no. Somebody who has that loose of behavior, that is a problem to me. That is a problem. Too loose of a behavior. But if she's somebody who kind of like can stick to one guy. If she has sex with him early, that's fine. But I'm talking about those that play around way too much. They go around way too much. Those are usually kind of crazy, and that as men we have to be able to see them. We have to be able to see them because women may have intuition, but women, we have instincts. We have to use them more. And a lot of the time we're trying to use kind of like intelligence, and we are not more in touch with our instincts. We have to use those more.
Hmm. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
ABM.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I have a girl. Okay, she said she'll be right back. Yeah. So I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know. I mean, I mean, I grew up with a very particular mindset because of how my mom raised me. Now, granted, my mom is very old school, so I definitely grew up thinking that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, sometimes different things happen, and I guess I don't know. It just depends on, like I said, how you connect with specific individuals. Because I think also as women, we are, I think for the most part, very selective or particular when it comes to who we, share our body with or whatever. And, some guys we can be dealing with for an extended period of time and never, ever give it up. And then somebody else, it may happen right away. So it just depends.
You're right. Because then if that's the case, then what is too soon? What is too early? I mean, because now, huh?
It's subjective.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you have a one night stand with someone and you think it's a one night stand and it turns into a whole relationship? There's marriages. I'm pretty sure most marriage. I wouldn't say most, but I say like damn near almost all. Like a lot of marriages end up like that. People I feel like relationships and everything like that, it's natural, it's easy. They're easy flowing. Like it's not this the guy's like he had to slay 20 dragons to get her. Like I don't think it's like that in real life. I think like it's both people mutually have a liking for each other and interest, and it works easy. The same way when you go to a river and you see how the water flows, it's easy, it's natural. People want to make this like it's like complicated. Like I'm saying,
Something that
Moise, we are definitely more selective than men are when it comes to who we choose to have sex with. Like,
there was a comment that somebody made like a couple of minutes back, and they were mentioning about women that were religious, and because of their religion, they will wait until marriage. Yes, there are women that are like that, but let's be honest, there are women that are religious that are some of the biggest freaks behind closed doors. Let's be honest.
That's true.
That is not true.
That is true. That doesn't stop them.
Okay, so
they'll swing from the chandeliers and all of that, and still be religious, and still quoting the Bible from the top of their heads.
Yeah.
Ramon, can I ask you a question?
You know, sex is natural. You know, it's not some like
yeah.
It's just
What's up,
natural,
man?
like anything.
Ryder, where you at? The sun is out. Where you at? The sun is out. I know what that means.
The window behind you looks like it's sunny outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It looks like it's daylight where you are, man.
Oh yeah. You know. I love to travel, man. I never want you to know where I'm at, man. Ramon, let me ask you this, bro. And your life, like how many relationships, like serious relationships, you think you've been with women? Like how many? Like romantic relationships?
Romantically, do I have to say a number? Okay.
Like how many like serious girlfriends did you have?
Okay, if we're talking about serious girlfriends, not many, but if we're talking about they were mostly Puerto Rican, and we're talking about 8 total in my entire.
Wow, that's a lot. I feel like that's a lot. You know, I feel like there's a lot.
No, but I mean, they have been spread out over a period of the last 25 years. So
you started young, though, right? You started young, like dating.
You're right. The first time when I started dating, that was when I was 19, and that's when I stopped hanging out with dudes. I completely changed that for good. When I was 19, I have been in college for a little bit of time. You know that the environment is different. I didn't date it at all when I was in high school, but when I started college in Puerto Rico, that's when I started dating, and it's been like that ever since. Now, being involved with a couple of other women that were not girlfriends, there have been others. But
right.
When it comes to an actual girlfriend, there have been like 8 total, I believe, now that I think about it.
Okay, yeah. 8. So 8. Okay, so out of those 8, right? How many of them made you wait for sex?
All of them made me wait a little bit, a certain amount of time. It's a little difficult to recall because we're talking about going back 25 years that I have been dating. But there were we're talking about my very first one. I remember that it was like 2-3 weeks, something like that. When I started making with that. Yeah.
Oh, wait, you see? So now 2-3 weeks.
We were talking heavy.
That's not a long time, I feel like.
Right. We were talking heavy. I knew that it was going to happen eventually because from the beginning we were talking sexual stuff from the first couple of days, but because I hadn't done anything, I hadn't done it before, then I was a little bit apprehensive about it because I just didn't know how to do it. I only knew what I had read about. So, what?
What, you're talking about your first?
Yeah. I'm talking about back when I lost my virginity. Yeah.
Do you think a woman could be do you think a woman could be a good woman and potential good wife and good mother, someone you can present to your mother, even though she has high sexual attraction to you? Do you think if she has high sexual attraction, that means she's not the type of person you present to your mother because she has a high sexual attraction to you?
No. I base that on more on how she carries herself outside of the bedroom.
Right. Okay. So you might meet a woman. I mean, you might meet a woman that's highly sexually attracted to you, the same way you're attracted to her. Like you're her type. You're her type. She's your type. And y'all probably, did it quick. And then after that, you love the way she is. Lady in the streets and a freak in the bed, right? But
yes,
she's a woman of character. So she, in your eyes, she's valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, still, even though we have been intimate, that didn't mean that I wouldn't value her, because I will also look at the other characteristics that have to do with how she carries herself, how she is with others, how the relationship that she has with her family, with her relatives, how she is when she's around, say, my family. And if I were to introduce her to my mother, I mean, I had a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend who was actually from the projects. She was from the projects. I met her when we were working together, and she was somebody who met my mom. She was somebody who met my dad. Not many people got to meet my dad.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry.
Go ahead,
But still, she was somebody who carried herself very well. She was somebody who was a productive person, and she was from the projects. And my folks knew that she was from the projects, but the way that she carried herself, how she presented herself, and my mom loved her, even though she knew where she was from, even though she knew where she was brought up in. So I mean, and we will do our thing privately, but the way that she carried herself, the way that she was with me, the way that she was kind of affectionate with me and I with her, and it was and it worked, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing. It worked. While it lasted, we were together for a couple of years. But there were other things going on. I'm not gonna get into that. But while we were together, then I appreciated who she was, and she's somebody that I could never say anything bad about. I mean, I could never talk badly about her. It's been a while, but yeah, I valued her. I valued her. Even though we were together, she didn't string me along. She didn't lead me on. She didn't mislead me. She didn't play games, because those are the things that I wouldn't have been with her if she had been playing those games. We felt it for each other, the physical attraction, and what had to happen happened. But we were responsible with it, because that is also the whole thing about responsibility, not being overly loose, because that's when you risk yourself with diseases and the like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, what you really care for more is her character, and how she presents herself seems to be a big thing, I guess, for a lot of the way you carry yourself, and being I guess you could say being a lady, right? And presenting yourself in a positive way, all that. Would you say that weighs more than the whole sexual aspect of it?
Yeah, Blood Moon is sounding 90 years old. Blood Moon forgot what it feels like to be a teenager or in your 20s, and be, you know, running with adrenaline and passion and lust. So it's, I mean, it's real easy to speak like this when, you know, you don't have that drive anymore. But when you young and you really attracted to somebody and they
Oh
can
yeah,
make you, when they can make you smile, it's so easy to fall into someone's arms. So, you know, it's more easily said than done, you know.
Yeah. I think love happens, you know. It's not something that you calculate or you just like
oh no.
negotiate ahead of time. It just happens. It's a feeling, like boom, it hits, and you're like,
Yeah,
this is the type of
it's an
feeling,
emotional thing.
and that's what
100%.
it
It's
is. You know?
emotion.
If you
Yeah.
don't get that feeling, then you're not in love. I think.
Right. I mean, and then again, if it's like real love, like if a guy really likes a girl, I don't think he'll mind waiting. To be honest with you, if he
That is
really
true.
likes
That
her,
is true too.
if you really like a girl, she's beautiful, she's funny, smart. You're okay with waiting because you know a relationship is greater than just a sexual thing, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, you like in your head, you're like, hey man, she still didn't give me no sex. I'm okay with that, like, because I know I really like her. She's worth me waiting, like. So I don't know.
No, it's like I said earlier when I was talking to Apple Girl. You know, you will know. I mean, there's something in you that based on all your experiences, that will tell you. You know, I think I feel there is something in here. Seriously.
Yeah.
Right. But as men, I mean, I'd say for the most part, we won't reject sex from a woman we like. Like I'd say, like 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, we're not gonna reject it.
Hell no.
We're not, especially if we like her. Like, why? For what?
Hell
What do
no.
we have to lose? Right? I don't know.
South Dingo. Is that white dude that's cool with that Antonio?
Yeah, South Dingo. Yeah.
Yeah, don't let him on the show.
Okay,
He'll derail it.
somebody's talking about bringing Rancho to this light. Come on, stop.
Wait, what's wrong with?
No, Chivo. My bad. It's just
Yo,
that I was thinking.
hold on. Let South Dingo in.
Yo,
Just let him in. You don't know what type of advice he has. You have to be open.
someone has to have the trigger ready.
Yeah. You just gotta have the trigger ready.
You
Extend.
know, this is the block. No one infiltrates.
Right.
What is this a picture of? Hold on. Oh, hey.
Hello. Hey, I want to ask: is Yuli still drinking wine?
Yuli,
Hey, bro. Yuli, bro, you need to start drinking some beers, bro. Wine's kind of feminine.
No, it's not, bro. No, it's not.
Wine's feminine, bro. Drink some Modelos and shit. Come on, bro.
That gives you a belly.
I'm just playing with you.
Sorry, what was the question?
You know, Uli's a Chichi. Listen, Chichi. Uli's a classy dude. That's why he drinks wine.
Hey, Chichi, go get the yayo. Hey, Chichi, get the yayo.
Chichi, get the yayo.
Oh, what's up,
No,
bro?
I drink beer too, but if I had more than 3, I'm drunk. So that's why I drink wine. I have a higher tolerance for wine. If it's beer, I'll be drunk and you know.
Hold on, I'm lagging too much.
Okay.
Oh,
that was quick.
Just a little bit of trolling.
Why do I need to have him on? He already knows where I stand. I know where he stands. We're not going to come to no middle ground.
You know why?
If he wants to come to your channel, let him.
You know why? Because Chichi went to get the yayo. That's why.
Chichi get the yayo.
Chichi got the yayo.
Yo, hey, Chico, it's all in the eyes.
Man. Jane. Okay, yeah. Yo hablo español también. Do you really know? Well, look, if he wants to come onto my channel, he can wait until my Dominican live stream. Because right now, I don't see. I mean, what am I going to talk about with him?
All right, let me. You know what I'm gonna do, guys? You guys all should follow suit. I'm gonna go to the stream and I'm gonna go like the video. All you guys should like the video. You know.
I did.
Yes, I do really are. Yeah. So, what? Anyways, whatever. I don't even know what's this video in here. Anyways, All right, got
So,
41 likes. Keep liking, keep liking.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are in the chat box, very busy, but they're not hitting the like button. Come on, do that for girl.
Why would anyone say that, Self Dingo? Why would anyone?
South Dingo says I would like the video if someone says Chivo is the most handsome Dominican I've ever seen. It has to be a woman though. I don't want fighter complex saying it.
Wait, did his live just end or something? Is that why people are?
Yo, look, oh yeah, they're trolling in here. He said, "Is this channel for jogger lovers?" Wow,
Jogger lovers?
dude, hey, I go jogging all the time, guys.
Yeah, I'm technically a jogger lover because I jog too.
Yeah, I love jogging.
Is that what they actually meant?
No,
slang?
No, that's not what they meant.
No, that's not what they meant.
Exactly. Somebody's gonna have to enlighten me on that one.
Okay. There was a case of that guy that went viral and all over the news that he was supposedly he stole some tools. Some people say he was jogging.
Yeah. The whole Ahmaud Arbery thing.
Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery.
Right.
Okay. So that's another substitute for the N word. You fucking racist. That's what it is.
They're trying to be funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Is that the real Self Dingo? I don't even know him anymore. So many fake accounts these days. Does he talk like that?
Hey guys, you need to behave yourselves.
We need to behave ourselves. What's going on?
No, not on the panel. Not on the panel. I'm just saying.
Oh. Okay, so I was going to say.
On the chat box, yeah.
Yeah, they're hitting hard right now.
See, this is where the divisive behavior starts. You know.
No. That's not.
Everyone in here was getting along. You know.
Yes, let's keep it that way.
Even though we all have different opinions, but we all get along here.
Because we can be civilized. The trolls want to steer shit up. Let's not allow that.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Being civilized is a Western thing, right?
Oh,
can we live up to that?
No, I made
it's a universal thing.
And in case you didn't notice, I make videos on multiple cultures, not just Dominican. So, is that a problem?
Wait, dang, what is somebody doing?
Somebody's flushing the toilet.
Somebody's flushing it.
I know who that was too.
That was not me.
I know who that was.
My
I'm not gonna
God.
snitch.
That's embarrassing.
I know who it was. I'm not gonna snitch.
I like your. Yeah, his life must have just ended or something.
Yo.
Why y'all over here though?
Yo.
Yeah, the live stream was Troop Teacher showed up, and it was just kind of funny.
Oh, damn! I forgot Truth Teacher was live today. Damn.
I'm gonna have to subscribe to his channel. I miss all the streams. I miss Fighter Complex. Hey, you had one a couple of weeks back. I'm gonna have to subscribe to your channel, but you need to put it over here in the chat.
Oh, you missed the one where he was here with us and me and my sister. Uli, you one last week.
You didn't see last week? Last week I was with Extina and her sister.
Yeah. I found out that later on when I saw the in the community page.
Oh, okay.
I missed that.
That was cool. That was a cool stream.
Yeah. The Dominican unity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lo Trinitario.
No, man, don't come in here trolling, man. Don't be here
the whole thing.
What, Amon?
The whole thing with the Trinitarios, man. I still remember the whole thing with the Trinitarios, the whole thing that happened with that kid up in New York. So that's still really a thing? Did that get dismantled? I mean, anybody know?
It decreased
I'm not.
it decreased a
I'm not
lot. It decreased a lot. So like a lot of them got arrested. Some of them died. Some of them got deported. Some of them went to Spain. You know, it's like this whole thing, but it's less of like you know, it's not really like it's rare for you to get like have an issue with like a Dominican gang nowadays.
Mm.
Like even in Spain, they're like cracking down on them hard.
Okay, I mean, should I let this dude on? I don't know. I mean, it's open to whoever. Just don't come up in here talking. What I'm gonna say.
Yeah, just keep like Macho said, keep your finger on the trigger.
Yeah, that's true diversity.
What's up, Miles? Hermano Perspective, you can join. Just don't talk shit. That's it.
Hey Tina.
What's up?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you pulling up like you say you was about to do? Is that what you're doing right now?
All right, hold on.
You say you was about that street life, you
Yeah,
hood?
yeah, bro.
What's going on?
You already know.
Okay.
You already know. I'm about to cam up right now. I'm gonna show you what I'm about.
With Amelia.
Oh my, more shut up. All right. Nah, cause you were talking shit in the DMs, bro. So I was just like,
Was I?
yeah, you were.
To me, bro.